Welcome back to the BlunderSpeaker Show, everyone. Pleasure to have you here. My name is Tepid Goose, as always. Come on in. Let's get relaxed. Let's get comfortable. We're about to play a nice game of Spirit Island here. For those of you familiar with the show, this is, of course, a show where we talk about and we play and we analyse and we deep dive into the board game Spirit Island. Everything you see is done in one take. That's the name of the game. That's the name of the show, BlunderSpeaker. There's plenty of blunders along the way. Hopefully not too many tonight, but we'll see how that one goes. We are now the 4th, so it's Tuesday, 4th of March, 8 minutes past 9 local time, based in Ireland, for those of you who don't know me. And for those of you who don't know me, welcome, as I say, to the show. Please do consider hitting that like and subscribe button if you like what you see. For everybody else, welcome back, of course. We had our episode go live the other day where we did the Brandenburg-Prussia analysis, but at the end of the show, of course, we had our poll, and we offered 3 options on who was going to play into Scotland, which is our next adversary. Probably should have mentioned that right up front. We are, of course, here to play Scotland tonight. We're going to talk through the card and all those other things now in just a moment. But yeah, massive thank you to everybody who voted. I checked it there this afternoon. I think score was around about 42%, something like that, for the winning team, which was, of course, our hard matchup, and it's Bringer of Dreams and Nightmares and Ocean's Hungry Grasp. One quick note on that before we get into any of the details. I need to mention I have had a change of heart at the last minute. If those of you who've seen the episode will know, I sort of tripped over when I was talking about Bringer, and I thought at first it was going to be an aspect. Then I said no, I was actually going to do base, and the reason I made that decision originally is because it was actually a more difficult matchup against Scotland with the base variant of the Spirit. But as I was laying out the cards and laying out the table today, I just couldn't bring myself to do it. Excuse the pun. I had to play my Enticing. I love Enticing Bringer. We're going to get into it now in a minute, but that's the case. We've got Enticing Bringer, and we do, of course, have Deep's Ocean laid out on the table in front of me here. I've got words to say on both spirits, and we're going to do a little bit of a preamble. Again, if you know me, you'll know how fond I am of a preamble. But we're going to do a little bit of a, housekeeping and kind of say a few words about sort of the spirits and all those things before we start. I'm putting myself at risk, of course, because again, if you know me, you know my playthroughs aren't the quickest things in the world, but we'll try to keep at a reasonable pace tonight. But I didn't want to jump right in until I had a few words to say on the spirits themselves. But we will, of course, as well take some time to look at Scotland. I have been making 1 or 2 changes on the on the platform here. So I've got my card cam set up ready to go with no cards in it just at the moment. So that'll be fine. I do have my 2 spirits loaded here, and we're going to have a look at a new change I've made there. But I think for now, let's maybe just take a moment just to talk about Scotland. Again, I'm not going to deep dive in this, and you'll see my face, of course, has disappeared for now. But yeah, this is the adversary we're playing against. They're rated about a 10 difficulty bar. They're rated by 10 by the creators of the game. I have them maybe slightly below that, but I think they're a wonderful adversary, and they give you a little bit of a flavour of almost everything. They give, they can hit you with buildings. Generally the coast is where they're hitting you at their hardest. So you kind of have to look out for that, and that is, of course, why this is such an interesting matchup, given that we're playing Ocean's Hungry Grasp here. But yeah, look, they do a lot of different things. They kind of add extra blight. They change up the deck order. You're guaranteed to hit the coastal lands as long as you're playing from Scotland 2 above. And of course, we are playing Scotland 6 for today. They do as well have the most amount of fear cards in all of the adversaries, which is a 6/6/4 deck. But again, we're going to get into all that, I think, on the episode itself. Just wanted to kind of bring this up. We'll come back to this card as we go along, as needs be. We'll see things like exploring into the coastal lands with towns. That's quite standard for them. And things like adjacency builds when you're in and around the coast as well. But I think what we're going to do first of all, as I say, I'm going to breathe because that's about, let's say, 4 minutes and 40 seconds without a breath. That's unlike me. But I did say, to start off, I wanted to talk about these spirits. I've got sort of a love and a hate. It's not a love-hate relationship with either spirit, because I kind of love one and I sort of hate the other. So I really, really love Bringer Dreams and Nightmares. This is one of my favorite spirits in the game. Absolutely love them. Base variant, I always kind of liked it. Never loved it as such when it was just by itself. But once Nature Incarnate hit and the two aspects came out for Bringer, fell in love completely. So absolutely in love what Enticing does for the game. I'll just bring up the panel here so we can have a look. Very much a major power spirit. It doesn't really have a bottom track, which is the only flaw of this spirit. For those of you who are unaware, there is a how do they call it, exploratory version that was created by Eric Royce, which is amazing, and they basically just change up that bottom track and put some extra Annie elements on there, kind of mix it up a little bit, and it just, to me, looks wonderful. So I really wish that had been the spirit that it was in its original form, because if it was, I'd argue this spirit would almost go into my top 3 favorite spirits if that bottom track was just a little bit better. But look, I did say I wanted to get Enticing on the channel because this aspect is amazing. So I have it shown here on my screen. You can see that it's going to replace Night Terrors. So the Ride Innate is going to disappear and it's going to be replaced by this aspect here. And the aspect does a whole bunch of everything. It's going to give you defend. It's going to give you some control. It gives you a gather as well. And if you hit that top level of the innate, you get to gather up to 4 explorers or towns. So a little bit like we talked about in the previous episode with the softly beckon ever inward from lure. Here you get it on an innate, and it's an achievable innate as well. Don't be too fooled. That looks a lot like the Shadows flicker like flame top level of their innate, but this is far more achievable, given of course your track elements and the left innate, which is what you get to keep when you're playing Enticing. And this left innate is one of my favorite powers in this entire game. I absolutely love that ability to look at fear cards before you get to resolve them. It's so much fun, so cool, so powerful. It's got everything, and of course there's an option to give a target spirit an element. So I can either, in this case, either give an element to me if I'm looking to trigger my top level of my innate, or of course I can be potentially looking to give extra elements over to Ocean. Now, I talked about Bringer, and I talked about how much I loved Bringer. I'm coming back here to the camera to myself for a moment. My story with Ocean is maybe slightly different. It's not maybe, it's very slightly different. And this is a spirit who actually, when I got the game first, I think my first game, I played BlunderSpeaker, and I was a little bit sort of all over the place. I had fun and I really liked what was going on, but I was a bit lost, and I was kind of really that sort of struggling to figure out how the game worked, so I couldn't really appreciate what the spirit was as such. But then I played Ocean, I think in my second game, might have been my third game. I might have played one of the lows in my first game. But it was the Ocean that gave me that click moment, and I know there's so many other people I've heard about who've got the very same thing. The guys over in Spirited Discussion podcast, they had an episode on Ocean during the week, and I know the guys there that they love it too, and they love it, not too, but they love this spirit, and it kind of got me thinking, yeah, God, actually, I should really get back to Ocean, because it gave me that click moment originally. That moment where, the tides are coming in and out and all that kind of good stuff that everybody knows and loves about Ocean. That's that click moment for me. So the story of my sort of path through this game very much began with Ocean right there. So I will always have a special fondness for this spirit from that perspective. It gave me that real draw, that real, okay, this is it, we're in. That 0 to 100 that I talked about all the way back in episode 1, that was Ocean. But the spirit itself, as I played it a little bit more over time, I grew to kind of a little bit dislike the spirit, actually, and sort of some of the play patterns and some of how that sort of tide works and a little bit how the growth patterns work. I always felt it was just a little bit kind of nearly starts and then it doesn't, and it kind of clunks its way through, and I don't know whether even in hindsight that's necessarily a bad thing as such, but it always felt to me as if Ocean was you can't optimize something and you're sort of clunking for a minute, and then it's like, oh, I've got a billion energy and I just start playing a million major powers, and kind of none of the other stuff mattered. You know, you've got these kind of tides in and out, and it's all very fiddly, but you feel like there's a puzzle to be solved, and then all of a sudden you start drowning things, and it's like the puzzle isn't there to be solved at all, and it's like you're either doing nothing or you're doing absolutely everything. And I just found that a bit problematic with this spirit. Now, that may have been me. I'm absolutely willing to say that I never put the time in to really fine tune my approach to this spirit. I've mentioned on the channel before that I'm not a guy who kind of goes and looks up sort of guides and things like that really for other spirits. I really appreciate seeing some amount of that content, but generally speaking, I like to figure the stuff out for myself. So I never really fully figured Ocean out all that much, but all of this is to say that along came this Deeps aspect, and I think Deeps does a lot for Ocean that maybe, you know, sorry, bring up the wrong screen, that maybe solve some of those problems. I've only played this once, so absolute disclaimer up front. I again have not cracked this or anything like that, but it felt a lot smoother to me when I played with Deep. So if you're not familiar, Deeps is going to replace both of the innates. So you can see here there's a 1 and a 2, and you get 2 new innates. One of them basically you're just going to go ahead and you're going to start adding these tokens, which I haven't got, so I'm going to have to reach behind me and go and grab my token, so bear with me while I do that. This is again the joys of playing with this kind of lifestyle of doing things on the fly. So I do have my fancy chunky Deeps Oceans Deeps Ocean tokens. Get that board and stick it over there. Absolutely apologies, folks. This is again not ideal, but unfortunately that's how it goes. I'll get my tokens here and I'll throw them off over to the side of the board here so that I have them ready to go. Hopefully you can hear that nice satisfying sound of wooden tokens cracking off the table. But anyway, I digress. We have an option to add tokens to the board, which is this first innate here, and then the second innate then goes ahead and use those Deeps tokens on the board to deal damage and, you know, basically turn ultimately your lands into convert island lands into ocean spaces, basically. So you start to you do this sort of divergence on the land. You start to kind of encroach upon the land, you grow the ocean, and you sort of, you know, you wipe out whole lands. So it's got this kind of mini briny deep element to it, where you kind of clear out those lands and they never become a problem in the future because they're quote unquote gone. So you know, it's got some cool stuff going on there. But again, let's see how it all plays out. These two spirits very clearly here not designed, but they do ultimately work very well together. You've got obviously on Bringer's side, you can't kill things, you sort of deal this shadow damage effect where you deal damage and you push the thing, and then when you push invaders, if you push them into the ocean, of course they get drowned by ocean. So plenty of synergy going on there. One final note before we start around the difficulty of this. So when I had put up the original sort of configuration with Basebringer, we were talking about a Basebringer is rated D, and Ocean Deeps rated C into Scotland. The two of those are Red Revenge's ratings of the matchup in Scotland. So very, very tough. I think once you go to once you go to Enticing, it goes up to about a B rather than a D. So you get a kind of two almost jumps of power into the matchup. But we're still talking about a B and a C. So in theory, should still be quite difficult. But let's see. There's obviously, you know, that's not really considering the synergy between the two. And I won't be ultimately surprised if this works very well and this becomes a comfortable game. But absolutely, this may be a disaster, and I also might lose badly. So we'll see how it goes. I briefly considered earlier on when I was thinking about upgrading my power of my team, I briefly considered adding an extra island tile into the mixer here, but that became probably not a great idea at all. So you know, especially when I'm spending 14 minutes and 5 seconds talking before I even start the game, probably not a great idea. So that's more or less everything that we're going to see here. I'm going to go ahead and I am going to flip the opening explore. Actually, just before I do, because this happens before you do the explore, is where you choose where you place your presence. So I didn't make a note of that. I've chosen to place my presence on the land 2 on Ocean's board. That's so that we can start to get that kind of deeps thing rolling with the placing the deeps tokens into your land. So again, we'll see how all that goes. Of course, Ocean kind of moves things in and out on the board and stuff like that, so not necessarily going to be stuck there forever. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to do our opening explore. And I'm going to immediately go to my Scotland thing, and I'm going to recall. So during play, so I just wanted to check this, whether it did it on the opening explore. So explore cards add a town instead of a explorer into to coastal lands, and when you hit coastal lands itself, it only does it twice instead of 3 times. But that's important here because clearly we have 2 such lands which are coastal across both boards. The reason I just wanted to be sure is when you do it with France, of course, that kind of double explorer thing with France, it only happens after the first explorer, so the first explorer doesn't count. But Scotland isn't so kind. Scotland are going to hit us straight away with some towns right into the coast there, and we do of course have a loss condition with Scotland. I didn't mention that at the start. It's something to bear in mind here. It's called Trade Hub, and if the number of coastal lands total with cities is ever greater than 2x the number of boards, the invaders win. So 2x the number of boards is going to be 2 by 2, which is 4. So if I ever have 5 lands with cities in them, I'm going to be in trouble. So I get 4. I can be allowed basically 4 of my coastal lands can have cities in it, but not 5. So that's how that's going to work there. So what have we got here? Let's have a little bit of a look. Ocean side of the board now, we're going to have cities into 2 lands on Ocean's board, which is something. We'll pick up our cards here and we'll start to formulate a plan. I know roughly what I'm going to do on the side of Bringer, so that should be okay. Oh, I took one of Ocean's cards there, so I'll pick up Ocean's cards for a moment. I didn't mention, of course, my drink of choice for this evening as well. I have a fine glass, although not in a fine glass. It's actually in a rather rubbish glass. It's a beer glass, but I do have a fine glass of Bordeaux red wine, which I'm quite happy to have. And because there wasn't a whole pile of it left on the bottle from yesterday, I gave myself a cheeky, sneaky little drop of scotch to go alongside. And of course, Old Faithful sparkling water. So I can keep well hydrated and well oiled as we go ahead and try to take down these dastardly Scots. Now, a quick note on Bringer here. We're going to probably see it come up at one point or another here. The Dread Apparitions card. So if I bring up my my Bringer tile here and we go ahead and have a quick look at Dread Apparitions, this is a card that gets pretty weakened by this new aspect. Because you don't have that Night Terror's ability, you don't have this kind of combo which Bringer has, which is the kind of use the Night Terrors to generate the fear for the Dread Apparitions. So it's just worth pointing out there. I'm just making a note on that because usually what I'll do on turn 1 with Bringer, and I will do it again today because I always do, I love it as an opening, is to play Call on Midnight's Dream. And usually with what I'll do is usually play Call on Midnight's Dream with Dreams of the Dahan, and I will go ahead and try to create a situation where I'll gather Dahan into a land and gather extra Dahan basically to try put maybe 3, maybe 4 Dahan together and play Call of the Midnight's Dream and then try to get a major off on the first turn. It's a little bit janky and junky and kind of, memey, but actually it's usually rather powerful. But the reason I'm pointing out the situation with the Dread Apparitions is this is quite a not a useless card, certainly not useless, but the impact of Dread Apparitions has been massively reduced as a result of playing with Enticing here. So I'm thinking that I might plan to lose the dread apparitions on the first turn itself. So if I just bring up the other card I'm talking about here, it's the where is it gone? Call of Midnight Stream. So this is the one basically where if you forget it, you get a benefit for you get extra energy, and you also get to play the major right away. So usually I will forget this to the major power itself, and then kind of go ahead and try to do that combo where you play it immediately. But it just so happens that in this game I'll be considering the fact that dread apparitions may be the card that I want to forget rather than the Call in the Midnight Stream itself. So we'll have a think about what that might look like here in terms of where I might want to do this. So I could, for example, we have that big land 2 there, which is a problem for next turn because that's going to go Blight and then Blight Cascade for want of a better term. So of course with Scotland you do the kind of add a Blight, and then if you Blight into a coastal land, you Blight into the ocean as well. So that's 2 Blight already in that land, and that makes it a little bit difficult for us to grow onto that board with Ocean, because Ocean wants to of course be on both island tiles for the most part, but right off the bat we're facing that big awful land 2 that Scotland present as a big problem to every player, and Bringer does not have a particularly useful way to kind of stop that. To get up to that, each invader does -1 damage on the third level of the innate. I'd have to hit a 3-2-1, and I can't do that until the third turn of the game. The second turn is no good. I'd have to do that on the third turn, so that's going to be too late. I can grow once and then I can grow twice, but I don't get across quick enough to hit that moon on the top track. So that could have been a way to go ahead and try combo that, maybe with the dread apparitions to prevent sort of all of that happening. I could have tried to maybe gather some Dahan into that land and kind of try to make that work that way. But I think this is going to be pretty problematic. It's going to be difficult to do that in this way. So I'm wondering, because that's a land that we'd really like to clear right now. I could let it go and I could just take 2 Blight and move on and we're fine, but I'd like, if I could, to somehow try to deal with that problem. So it's going to ravage for 3, it's going to ravage for 6. So just thinking here, is there a way, and I'd never really do this in this particular order, but I'm wondering, is there a way for me to use Predatory Nightmares on the first turn, use that to push the Han into that land 2 in the slow, then in the fast maybe next turn use Dreams of the Han to gather more Dahan into the land, and that could give me, so essentially what I'm thinking right here is Predatory Nightmares. If I go with this card on the first turn, just bring it up and have a little look of it here, I could use this in theory. I've got a Sacred Side over on the board right now over in land 6, which I'll bring back in a moment. So I could pick off from that, I could basically pick off a jungle or a wetlands explorer, and then shadow kill whichever one of those lands explores, and then basically push. So what I'm talking about here is either into this jungle or this wetland, push the Dahan into the land 2, and then on the second turn go ahead and try to, dread apparitions plus, I don't know, Dreams of the Dahan or something like that. But that's not giving me any, it's not really giving me any fear to do a defend. It's just not really doing it at all. Like, I can get the town out of there with my enticing ability, so that's okay. But that's why I said 6 right before rather than 8. I was saying 6 because obviously I stopped the build and I can get the town out of there easy enough. But can I stop 6 incoming damage? The thing is, because I've got the Call of the Midnight's Dream, that could be anything, right? That could find me a big fear card, or a big defend card, should I say. It could also find me, I don't know, some kind of damage card in there, but but you don't shadow damage and push the cities, which is the other thing. They're not going to move. Even if I do a bunch of damage in there, the cities aren't going to move. So what I'm really looking for is, obviously a big card like Indomitable Claim or some other such big defend card. Walls of Rock and Torn wouldn't do it, but there are certainly a number in there that could defend that for 6. There's a whole bunch of them. So I might look to just do that major in the first turn with Calling the Midnight Stream anyway. If I find the defend card, I don't have to play it right away, and I can save it till my second turn. And there could be some other things that I could maybe do and maybe leave the land. So I think in that case, what I'll do is I'll open on Call of Midnight Stream and Predatory Nightmares. And this, at least, would give me a shot at do this thing, like I said, with the Predatory Nightmares, where I can do that ability to push, basically disrupt the Explore in either jungle or wetland. Obviously, if it's a mountain, it's not ideal. It doesn't work that way because it's range 1 only from a sacred side, so I can only really disrupt one of these lands here. But that's 2 out of 3 cards essentially, which is not bad odds, and that would give me the chance to push the Dahan if I found the defend card. I can also then obviously fast phase next turn. I can Dreams of the Dahan and pull some extra Dahan in there. I've got sort of 2 from here and 2 from here, so I've got 5 adjacent Dahan to that land. So it really seems to me as if this is a kind of a plan here, despite the fact that this is tough and it's going to require multiple actions to be able to solve this land. This is a little bit like what I was talking about in the previous episode with Action Economy, by the way. Here's a great example right off the bat on the first turn. It's easy for me to leave that land alone here, let it blight twice and move on, and then solve the problem later. But if I do that, it causes me quite a bit of disruption, and I still have to deal with the problem somewhere down the line anyway, because coastal lands will come. So, this causes me disrupted action, and I will eventually have to sort of take those extra actions and invest those actions later on in the game. Now, sometimes deferring those till later in the game is okay, but here, because we've got Ocean, there's an additional reason to really want to protect this situation, because I'm not going to be able to grow across into that Ocean on this turn or the next turn if I leave that land alone. So that's basically 3 turns where I haven't done anything, and that's also stopping me sort of pushing things into the Ocean and things like that on that side of the board as well. So don't love kind of just leaving this one alone. It feels to me as if investing multiple actions into this land is worth it right now, instinctively. Again, there's no algorithm going on, but I think that's what I'm going to try to do. So it looks like this to me is going to be my turn. And I'm going to do the Call of Midnight Stream. I think I'm jumping across into this land 3 over here, because that gives me 2 Dahan, and that can be worth the two energy if I choose to play the major right away. So I think that's what I want to do. Ultimately, to do that, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use the G4, which is going to give me 2 energy plus the 2 on my top track. And I can lock this in because Ocean's turn isn't really going to be impacting this one way or another. So I'll do a 2 and a 2, pull from the top track, which gives me an air. And it's not going to give me, unfortunately, the first level of Spirits May Dream, but it will give me the first and second level of Enticing. First level doesn't really do anything at all, but the second level certainly does. So that'll be okay there. Oh, you know what? Oh, that Enticing would be nice if I could reach. Just looking at it, the second level of Enticing, pulling that town out of that land would be pretty nice. Although it is worth pointing out here that would adjacency build anyway, because it's next to a coastal city. So I couldn't actually stop the build, but I could stop it building a city at the very least. So that's one thing. But I do want to get close to this land here. I want to get close to it because if I need something at range 1 next turn, I'll be at least next door. So I think I just want to go ahead and jump across and put that in there, and I'll have to leave the sands on Ocean side of the board and see can Ocean do anything about this. So let's have a look. Ocean does actually, now that I look at it as well, Ocean has a defend 4, and that's important here actually. I hadn't really factored that into my consideration. So if I jump across with Ocean into this side of the board, that defend 4 gives me additional redundancy essentially. So let's look at the card here. It's called Grasping Tide. That gives me additional redundancy, and it gives me extra outs basically towards the situation next turn that I was talking about. So this kind of gathered the hand and all the rest of it in here. There's a sort of a fallback plan, which is pretty nice. So we'll see how that all works out. But I think we have that land 2 on this side of the board covered. So the question is, how do we solve that land 1 then? One thing I can do, of course, is I can swallow the land dwellers to at least get rid of the town after the city builds, but then I'm still left with a city here. There's not really going to be anything I can do about that. Just looking at my innates. No. I can't get the 3 water on the first turn, of course, so that's not going to help me. I can get a water on the second spot on the top track, but I can't unlock 2 plays and get that second water. So none of that's going to work. Our Call of the Deeps here, not so good into this particular adversary, but I could. No, unfortunately, I can't get across and Call of the Deeps this explorer out of this land either. I can solve this one though. If I jump across here into this ocean, I can Call of the Deeps and gather this explorer from here into this land. So I think that's got to be a pretty good. No, that doesn't work either. Sorry. No, because my growth patterns are I can add presence into an ocean, so that can let me jump across here onto this board into that ocean. But then my G3 will let me push a presence from an ocean, and then add a presence to a coastal land at range 1. But I can't get across here without getting into this ocean first. So there's a whole bunch of nearlies happening here, but I think none of them actually work. It's a little bit what I was talking about when I always felt a little bit clunky with Ocean. Like the opening turns always felt like, I just need 1 extra. Oh, I need to do that first, then do this, which is a little bit tricky with this spirit. So we know for sure Grasping Tide is going there for the second turn. Target spirit can see him push up to 2 from one of their lands. Tidal Boon. Tidal Boon isn't hugely exciting. If I play Tidal Boon here, Bringer would have to explore into that land, and that's a 1 in 3 shot. So that's not really great either here. So not looking like we haven't really much of anything in terms of options. I've got, of course, to swallow the land dwellers, but that's a range 0 power. So that's not really offering me much either. I can, of course, go, into that land. If I G3, I could G3 into that land. But I'm not in love with this play. I'd rather G2 first and then G3 to get off this coast. That's kind of the pattern I'd be looking to do here. But a G3 doesn't really, or G2 doesn't offer me much of anything here. I've no cards that I want to play. Do I just G2 and underplay on the first turn? That seems insane. My Call of the Deeps isn't doing anything. No way across there. Push 1 person. Coastal land. No. I'm struggling here, folks. Tidal Boon. Sure, I can just play it as a 1 of. It'd give me. If I go top track and go and unlock that water element. Play Tidal Boon. Oh yeah. I do have a thing. Sorry, I didn't spot it right away. So yeah, this is what I'm doing. So I'm going G2, and I'm going to top track, and I'm going to gain 1 energy. So that 1 energy is going to be used to pay for Tidal Boom, and that's at least definitely going 1 over there, and I think I just go 1 over there like that, and we go 1 into each. So that's it, add a presence into any ocean. So basically Tidal Boon here. Let's have a quick look at Tidal Boon. Tidal Boon is going to allow me essentially to either, if essentially allows the other spirit gain 2 energy and push a town. So essentially this is going to solve this land over here. And that will be fine. But if I explore into mountains, I could also use that to, in theory, push the town away there. So that's all fine. I'll go with Tidal Boom there. I want to be unlocking my water elements and probably thinking about top track a little bit here anyway. So I'm happy enough to go top track at this point in time down that route for now. How far we go, we'll see. But for now, I think I'm pretty happy with that. Over on this side of the board, then we're going to take the 2 for Predatory Nightmares. We'll put the other 2 in the pot. I've got that Gather up to 1 Explorer, and actually I can use that to solve this land, because I don't have any other good use for it. Well, actually, I lie. I do have a good use for it. I can take that town out of there, and I know I want to do that anyway. So I think I will do that. I think I'll take the town out rather than use that to solve this build, which would be a nice play, but I am only going to get to use this once. I won't get to do that next turn, so I'm going to have to do that this turn, and we already have this land solved by Tidal Boon. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use the Enticing ability. I'm going to gather a town at range 1. So from here I can gather into either this land or this land, and we'll go there because it's got a beast. So we'll gather into that land. And then I will use the Call on the Midnight's Dream. And I'm doing the Enticing first, of course, because I want to have the option to forget the Call of Midnight's Dream. So that's done. Even though I'd like the information first from the Call of Midnight's Dream, I'd like to have the ability to sacrifice this now and play it if it feels like the right thing to do. So I'm going to go ahead and play Call of Midnight's Dream. I'm going to target this land right here. So if it has Dahan, gain a major power. So I'm going to start with that. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is going to look like Storm Swath. Transform to a Murderous Darkness. Death Falls Gently and Infinite Vitality. So let's have a look at that. We have some element alignment here. So the first card that's jumping out at me, obviously straight off the bat, is going to be that Death Falls Gently card. Let's bring that up in the card cam and have a look. It works in jungles and sands, and this is going to be 4 damage, and if any invaders remain, I get to add a disease, and then if I hit this threshold, which is going to be pretty tough to hit with the 3 plant, I can add some stuff into adjacent lands. So this is a damage card, and it's going to essentially help me to deal some amount of damage to some amount of things. I could maybe combo this with the Deeps ability, which lets you do little bits of damage. So, into one land, for example, I deal Deeps, I deal 2 damage, maybe deal 1 to each city or something if it's a land or 2 cities, and then I come along with the Death Falls Gently and I deal some damage that way. So that could be quite nice. I could combo this right now into that land too with my Predatory Nightmares and deal 6 damage in the slow phase, but no, that doesn't work because you can't deal damage and keep it on the building. So I couldn't do 4 damage, 3 to 1 city and 1 to the second city and then do the Predatory Nightmares after. That doesn't work, to be clear here. So I can't do the 6 damage at the same time. I obviously have to resolve the 2 powers independently. So I could use this to shadow damage 1 of the cities, but there wouldn't be a single point of damage assigned to the second city because it's not enough to kill it. And if it's not enough to kill it, it doesn't deal anything. And it doesn't trigger your shadow thing. So I can't actually combo this with the Predatory Nightmares, which is what I was about to suggest. The Transform to a Murderous Darkness is fun, and I could hit the threshold on this, and I do love a card that doesn't get to shine when I get a chance to play it, and this really never gets to shine because the card absolutely stinks. But let's have a little look at what it looks like here. Could I possibly be considering the transform here? So I'd have to sacrifice one of my sacred sites, and then add some bad lands, deal some damage, get some fear. I could, for example, in single land, I can just like sacrifice 2 things, put 2 bad lands, deal like 6 damage plus a further 2 would be like deal 8 damage into a land, and then I could threshold this thing reasonably easily, which would let me deal sort of damage into adjacent lands as well. So it could be interesting, but it's a very poor card, and it's a bit early in the game to be taking a card like that. I think this is a Death Falls Gently moment here. I think I will take the Death Falls Gently. It's well aligned to my spirit, so it's got good elements, and it's not too expensive. The Infinite Vitality is a good card, but it's nowhere near my my elements right now. It's completely opposite to my elements, and Bringer really does want to be hitting the elements for his enticing aspect here. And Stormswath again, it's not bad, but it's not exactly what I'm looking for. So I'll take the Death Falls Gently, and the question is then, am I going to sacrifice where's my other card, the Call of the Midnight's Dream, to play the Death Falls Gently now? That's a question to be answered. Range 3, so this could let me solve an Explorer over here. It could let me solve it could just deal 3 damage. It could just be basically a gain 5 fear card if I just shoot one of the buildings, the cities, should I say. I think I might save it, which would mean I might save Call the Midnight's Dream and do this again a second time somewhere later in the game. Because Death Falls Gently isn't really your loop card. What you're looking for, Bringer, a lot of the time is a card that you can kind of loop and do your reclaim 1 and play a bunch of times, and this card isn't strong enough to be a loop card, especially when I can't hit that that innate very easily. I don't want to be dedicating my my Annie or my Spirit's Mayet Dream extra element to threshold this, because it's just not strong enough. So I'll take this and I'll use it as a one shot, but I think I'm going to sacrifice the Dread Apparitions, because we said we already have the Call of the Deeps, or not the Call of the Deeps, the Grasping Tide, to deal the 4, defend a 4 next turn. Oh no, apologies, I need Dread Apparitions to be able to do that. So I was going to combo Dread Apparitions with Grasping Tide to defend that land. That was what I was saying. So I want to keep Dread Apparitions in that case, and I can use it as Forget Father for another major at some point. We want to use Dreams of the Hand to gather the hand into that land next turn as well. So in fact, I am going to forget the Call of Midnight's Dream, and I'll play the Death Falls Gently. This just kind of works out a little bit sort of cleaner, and what it does do, it actually does one other thing for me right now, which is quite nice. So I'll forget the Call of the Midnight's Dream. Great card, love it, and I will gain 2 energy. Because there's 2 to hand in my land, and I'll spend 2 plus the 2 I have in my pool to play that card now. And what that allows me to do is, very nicely, that's giving me my second heir, which actually gives me the Spirit's Mayet Dream. So I do get access to that, which is really nice. So obviously only level 1, so that's going to be good. So I'll use the Spirit's Mayet Dream, and that is going to flip over, and I'm going to choose any face down fear card. I'll choose the top one, and I'm going to turn it face up, and that is going to be Theological Strife. So we'll quickly show that into the card cam over here, and that is going to be it's going to let me add a strife in a land with a presence. So we need to keep that in mind whenever we're getting close to triggering a fear card. We can use that as a defend, which is pretty good. So okay, so we played the Death Falls Gently, we've got the Predatory Nightmares, all that's resolved. We resolved Enticing, we don't have any fast powers over here, so we're going to go ahead and flip an event for we don't have to carry it out on the first turn, of course. It's invested aristocracy. And then we'll go ahead and we'll start to use our invader actions. And we're 40 minutes into the game and we're resolving the first invader action of the game. So it took a little while. As I always say, start of the game is where you really need to get your head into what your plan is and how you're going to go about the game. So that took quite a while, but hopefully that's a little bit, useful and maybe insightful for how I'm kind of thinking and planning the game. So hopefully from here on out, we can be a little bit smoother and cleaner. So let's carry on. Ravage, no, of course. Build, we've got over here, we're going to build a city. Up here, we're going to build a town. Over here, we're going to remove this this disease, and then up in the corner there, we're going to go ahead and place a town. After that, we are going to I was just making sure I wasn't forgetting a rule there. We're going to explore, and it is that jungle that I talked about before, rather than the mountain over here. So let's go ahead and explore jungles. It's going to be there, one. And we're going to again hit 2 coastal lands, so it's back to back on double coastal here, which is a little bit difficult. It's a little bit tricky. We actually have no coastal wetlands on this configuration, and we've missed wetlands, of course, twice, but that's the way it goes. Wetlands are totally empty. Actually, Wetlands Explorer would have been really nice in this game, but that's unfortunate that we're not going to get it. So we'll go. And we actually loaded up over here. We put the town into our beast land on that board. But if I had to spend a little bit of time to think about this board configuration, putting that in there may have been correct. So that was maybe a slight misplay, just because I hadn't spread my bets across the board, and I've put myself in a spot here where I can hit wetlands and it's amazing, or I hit jungles and it's tough. So actually I should have maybe spread myself a little bit there. But anyway, that's our explorers done. We explored, of course, with 2 towns, and we'll go ahead then and go to our slow phase. And what we have now is clearly Tidal Boon. I'm going to give 2 energy to Bringer. And Bringer's going to get to push 1 town and up to 2 to hand from one of its lands. So I can push this town here, and I think I'll just go in there, because that land is already a problem anyway. So I'm going to push that into there, and I'm going to push this to hand into here. So that'll give us maybe some sort of a chance at defending that one in future. So I'll go ahead and do that. That's that resolved. And then if any things are pushed into the ocean, which they're not, I also of course have the deeps 1 and 2. I have the first level on both, so I get to add a town, or not a town, sorry, a one of these tokens at range 1. So what'll this look like? Next turn I'm going to get to unlock So I'm going to dump this Tidal Boon over here for now because it's gone. But of course, consider that I have the extra water element, so that's gone. So we do have both of these. So I'm thinking for next turn, this is where I'm starting to plan out now what my next turn is going to look like and which innates I'll hit. Definitely playing Grasping Tide. So that plus any of my water cards will give me access to the Deeps 2. Let's bring it up here and have a look. It'll give me access to this ability on screen, which is the first level and the third level, because I've unlocked that moon. So with any other water card, I'll have that, and that means I'm going to get to do 1 damage per thing, and then repeat it again. So that can give me, at a minimum, if I want to, 3 damage in 2 different lands, I believe, because I also get to do this Deeps level 1 and 2 next turn as well. So right now, for example, I can place one of these tokens in one of these jungles on the coast, and then next turn I get to go add 1 and then add 1. Yeah, I'm only going to get to do that once next turn. Yeah, okay. So basically what I'm looking at here is place one of these in here, and then next turn I get to place 2. And then I get to do my ability. So I get to do 1 damage per thing, and then repeat it in either land. So essentially what I'm just thinking about here is, it'll look like I can split this either way, but if I want to do it into 2 lands, it'll look like this in one land and that in the other land, and then I get to essentially do, as long as I grow into one of those lands, which I intend to, I will get to do the Deep's ability into both lands, essentially. So I can deal 2 damage in here and 3 damage in here. And then with a Swallow the Land Dwellers, that solves one of those lands. So that'll be likely my whole next turn will look like those 2 cards there. And then Call of the Deeps won't get played. I can either keep it for looping back on the reclaim or whatever. So that would look like essentially solve one of these lands, either or. I guess it's not going to matter. I could solve one of those lands like that, and then the other one I would have to maybe reclaim my Grasping Tide and defend the city attacking us. But I think we're pretty good. So that looks like we've got all of that solved. So this turn, of course, I'll only place 1, which is going to be at range 1 into that land. And that's okay. And I'm going to keep those there because that's going to be the plan for Ocean next turn. But then on the other side of things then here with Bringer, well, actually Bringer has an easy out, don't they? Because I already talked about this. So 2 damage in here, which is going to shadow damage this town. So the other stuff I was talking about was nonsense. So this is going to be gone because this is a much easier play for Bringer. So Bringer's going to shadow damage that and push it in here. That's going to generate 2 fear. We're off the board. We're off the block with fear. So that's that. And then I get to push these 2 to hand. And of course, they're going to get to push into there. So that's going to be good. Then I've got the Deathfall Gently. Now, I think at this point, I'm just going to Deathfall Gently to solve one or other of these, one of the 2 jungles that are far away, because we know we have this over here solved by Ocean, so that's okay. So then I'm going to Deathfall Gently. So we're not solving this is the question. I don't have a way to solve that right now. So next turn we're doing Dread Apparitions in there. Plus Grasping Tide in there. So we have that solved. The Grasping Tide on Ocean side of things, as we said, was going in there. And then Swallow the Land Dwellers, we can do maybe in there. But we don't have a way to stop this unless I draft a defend card. So I'm just wondering, there's no real point in me going Deathfall Gently across there and trying to push that single town out. That's not really doing anything for us. And yeah, I think I'd rather just clear out one of these jungles and do it that way. So let's go ahead and go at range 3 into a jungle or sands. And in this case here, I think I'll just go into this land over here because it doesn't have the beast that might do something in that land. It might kill the town and stop the city build. So I'll go ahead and deal 4 damage into here, which is going to be another 2 fear. And I'm going to get to push the 2 of these. And I will push these. I can push them 1 step closer to the ocean that way. Not really doing that much to change things right now, but I think it should be fine. So that's in there. And then if any invaders remain, add a disease, which they don't. So again, what we said, Deathfall Gently, probably 1 and done. Probably won't end up playing that card again, but that's okay. It solved the land for us, and it did its job, albeit a very expensive one. So that's gone. That's going to be discarded. That's going to be discarded. So we've got our first turn down at least. So let's loop back around. We've already got the second turn lined up more or less with Ocean over here, and actually almost with Bringer as well. So in this case, by the way, sorry, I never mentioned it last turn, but I placed 1 single Deep's token, and then I did 1 damage to it with the other innate, which does nothing, obviously. So that doesn't make any difference. Yeah, it's worth pointing out, actually, there was one thing to consider here. I didn't mention it, but if I had have done the Deep's ability in here and done 1 damage to this city, I could have done the Death Falls Gently into that land for 7 fear and push the town out. 7 fear is a lot of fear. Oh, hey, you know what? If I do 7 fear, that gives me theological strife. And I can then grow into this land with Bringer. Or not with Bringer, with Ocean, and use that to strife that. Yeah, that's way better. Way better. Okay. No, I see a better plan. So we're going to let that one build, which is not ideal, but this solves our sands first. So let's undo that. We'll put our 2 fear back. So I noticed it just at the end. So let's change a little bit of what we did there. So in this case, instead, I'm going to go deeps in there. And then I'm still going to be solving that next turn. I don't need to solve 2 jungles now. So I'll put that in there, and then I'll deal 1 damage to the city. So the city takes 1 damage. In this case, it doesn't really matter which one is going to take the damage because they're not going to be killed. But then when I do the Death Falls Gently, it's still range 3. So 1, 2, 3 all the way across into that land. Now I'm going to deal 4 damage in that land. And I'm going to deal 2 to the city and 2 to the town. That's going to deal... It's going to basically shadow kill those buildings, which for Bringer is 5 fear for a city and 2 fear. So that's going to be 7, which is going to be 6 plus 1, and it's going to give us that theological strife. And here is the value of the spirits may yet dream. So that's going to do that. That's going to push the town, and it's going to push the town into the drink. And when the town goes into the drink, Ocean obviously gobbles it up. That goes in here. That's another fear. And Ocean has this in here, and I'm just going to go ahead and convert this now because waiting isn't going to make a difference. The drowning, of course, if you're not familiar with Ocean, let's quickly bring it up here. I can essentially drown pieces of invaders for 1 energy for 2 health, essentially, because I've got 2 players here, so each 2 health worth of invaders is worth a single energy for me. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drown, or I'm going to convert essentially that town into a single point of energy. So that worked out much nicer. I'm really glad I found that. So yes, I haven't solved this jungle up in here, but that was significantly better. And also because now my Death Falls Gently, if I quickly bring it back up on the card cam as well, that's now going to not work for me, which is not ideal. My phone appears to have gone off. Bear with me, folks. Shouldn't have happened. Ooh, did I run out of battery? Well, it looks like I did. That's bad news. That shouldn't happen. My phone should be on charge the entire time. My phone has gone off, and unfortunately, my card cam has run out, which is not such good news. But we'll have to unfortunately struggle on. So the Death Falls Gently anyway. It's going to give me the extra disease into the land because an invader remains. So let's go ahead and place that disease in there now, which is quite nice for future reference. We've gotten all of our thing, and that's going to be gone this time. Actually, what I think I'll do as well here, just while I'm playing, I might just plug my phone in, which is what oh, you know what, that's too fiddly. We're going to deal without the card cam, unfortunately, this time, folks. That's just going to be one of them things. It's actually plugged into my computer, of course, because it doesn't work if it's not plugged in. Yeah. Oh, you know what? It's not plugged in. Oh, no, it is. It is. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. That's just the way it goes. So, throw me a little bit here. Just throw me. Let's gather ourselves here. So that was that. We're back up and we're doing our growth again. And actually, it's very, very warm here. So I'm also gonna go ahead and open the window. Jesus, I'm struggling here, guys. I'm struggling. I'm all over the place. Okay, so we know we have that solved. So now we can go ahead and call that one solved right now. So we actually solved our 2 coastal situations with the sands, which is pretty good. And we also, it looks like, have our... Well, yeah, so this is still going to build, isn't it? Because... No, it's not. Because they're going to die in Ravage. So we need to make sure that they die in the Ravage. And that's okay, because we can do that. So over here, we will go this time a G3, which is going to gain a power card, push a presence from each ocean, and add a presence to a coastal land. So we'll gain a power card first, and I think for now we're sticking with minors. We will maybe eventually go majors, but at the moment I think we're okay with minors. This isn't the very heavy drowning game that I talked about with base, so this is going to be a minor power for now, which is going to be carapace land, renewing boon, domesticated animals, and thriving choke fungus. And that thriving choke fungus is nice elements for us at the very least, so we're probably very strongly considering that one. Otherwise, domesticated animals is obviously a good power, but we're going to have all of our coasts sorted for now. Thriving choke fungus giving us extra access to badlands to work with our deeps is probably going to be pretty good here. Obviously, the carapace land and the domesticated animals are two by far better cards than the other two, but for us right now, I think the thriving choke fungus is reasonable. It's not as good as the other two, but we kind of have the situation sorted reasonably well, so I think we'll go ahead and take the thriving choke fungus, throw those away over there, and then we can put this one in our hand. Don't think we necessarily need to play it this turn, so swallow the land dwellers. What are we drowning here? So if we push, in this case we're obviously going to go from bottom track with this, so that's going to go somewhere. We're going to be pushing a presence from ocean, and we can push that in there to drown that town when it builds. So that's a nice drown with swallow the land dwellers in there, which works out pretty well. Pushing from this side of things, then we can push this presence here, and that's going to give us obviously our solve with the city over there, and then we can kill it obviously with the deeps ability after the fact as well, which is quite nice. And then the other thing that we want to do in that case is, so when we look at deeps, we can say 1 damage per deeps thing. We only need to deal it once in there, and we can do 2 in there. We wanted to deal, what, 3 in there, did we? We've no way of getting the hand over there, do we? We can Dreams of the Hand, of course, here, but we want to do Dreams of the Hand in here to make sure that these die. Oh yeah, sorry, we're not building in here. Of course we're not, because we're going to kill these, so that's not building that. So we can push out of here, and we have to push into one of these lands, don't we? So I suppose we'll just go in there anyway, just in case. And then, but then the Dreams of the Dahan, we wanted to pull into this land, make sure that they die in the Ravage. That was the thing that we wanted to do with them. So that can gather, you know, from the inland maybe if we wanted to. I was just wondering whether I wanted to gather the Dahan over into there. It's a city kill either way, but this way obviously prevents a build, so it's more important to do it in there. So we're essentially going to go, yeah, sorry, Dreams of the Dahan in there, that works. Dread Apparitions in there as well. So again, we're multi-use of abilities in single lands, but I think we'll be okay. This is going to give us Spirits May Yet Dream level 1 and Enticing level 1. The other thing then, of course, we need to choose our growth option here. Just wondering, do I look for a major? I think I might, and just throw away the Deathfall gently. I don't really want to be looking for that again, so I think I will look for a power card and look for a major here with Bringer. Again, just looking for kind of planning out how the next turn or two is going to go. I know I don't necessarily need to play one on this turn, but it'll give me an idea what I want to do next turn. So I think I'm going to look for a major power on the side of Bringer here. Let's have a look and see what we can find. 1, 2, 3, 4. Weave Together Fabric of Place. That's always a nice card. Cleansing Floods, Fragments of Yesteryear, and Transformative Sacrifice. So Weave, again, obviously very nice elements for us Do you know what I just realised as well? Because we're going to get to Theological Strife this turn, I don't necessarily need to play Dread Apparitions. Because I could, in theory, grow into this land and use my Theological Strife to get a strife onto one of those buildings. But now I'm looking at it, I can even weave together the fabric of place, these two lands together. Would that be something? I'm going from top track here, clearly, so that's going to give me access to 3 energy. So I'll have 5. So weave plus something. What can be weaved? Weave is a kind of a way to gather the hand into that land in theory without having to use Dreams of the Dahan either. So I could in theory use Dreams of the Dahan over there somehow. I'm just wondering whether there's a way I can do that. There isn't really though. I'm wondering whether Transformative Sacrifice might be the thing. Can't really threshold this anytime soon, so I'm not totally in love with the ability. Otherwise, I know the guys again talked about this on the podcast during the week, and Kaelin mentioned about how much he loves the card. I'm not so much in love with it, so I think I'm taking Weave here. I love Weave a lot. I think I can make some stuff happen with Weave. I took it in the last playthrough and never got to use it with Volcano, but there might be something I can do here. So Weave would at least give me a way to pull those Dahan into that land right now, and that gives me that kind of kill. It also lets me put my my presence into that land, but I'd have to grow into this land anyway, which I can do. The thing is, with Dreams of the Dahan, that's going to be 1, 2, 3 away, so I'm not actually going to get to get the extra presence into that land, unfortunately. Not presence, sorry, the extra Dahan. I'm also looking as well, my Enticing aspect also helps me solve that land too. So that could let me, in theory, grow somewhere else. Just looking what Weave does for me here. It could be one of those spots where I just weave a random land, one of these lands over here, pull all of those cards, pull all the invaders out of this jungle. I essentially just use it to solve the build, which isn't a lovely way to use it, but it can work. So that could just be a solve on the build from the jungle. Then I could Dreams of the Dahan into this land, and then just Enticing together with Grasping Tide in there. It does mean then that I just waste my strife though, so where am I placing my strife in that case? Wondering about weaving this land with this land. Oh, actually, oh yeah, I can just Enticing into there. Yeah. I can just Enticing to stop that Ravage, so that's fine. I've got that solved with Enticing. And then I can weave this land with this land, which solves, as I say, because of the Theological Strife. So I think I'm doing that, but it does mean I have to place that in there. But I think that's okay. I think this is what we're doing, and it means I can actually gather 2 Dahan from here into here with that ability, and that allows that counter back and kill the town. So yeah, no, we got there eventually. Okay, this is what we're doing. So this is going to be on this side of the board. That's the gain of power, place of presence at range 1. I'm going to 3 + 1 with the weave. That's going to give me access again to Spirits May Yet Dream level 1 and also level 1 of Enticing. So I think we've got a pretty good plan here. Dread Operation stays in my hand. On the side of Ocean, we've already taken the growth action. We've placed this here, and then we just have to place this from a coastal land. So I'm going to go ahead and place that in there on that board, I think. Yeah. Because I want to... Yeah, I want to do that, so that's okay. And then I will gain my... oh, that doesn't give me an energy. Oh, I have one, sorry. Of course. From the previous turn. So I'll go ahead and pay for Grasping Tide. Swallow Land Dwellers is free. I've got my other cards in my hand, so we're taking a little moment or two here to get through this, but I think we've got it so far. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3. That's going to give me first and second level of this, and then over here I've got first and third level of this. So we don't need that. Good to go. Let's resolve our fast powers. Now, I'm going to, at range 2, gather up to 2 to hand. I'm going to gather them in there. Next thing I do is I'm going to do the Spirits May Yet Dream on the second card down. So that's going to give us access to, and information on what's coming after. It's going to be Discord, and that says at level 1, each player adds a strife in a different land with at least 2 invaders. So we're getting some nice defensive strife stuff going on here. So that works quite well. So that's going to be on you know, maybe the next turn or something like that. So that's resolved. Next thing is Enticing. I'm going to do each invader does -1 damage into this land. So we already have it marked. So that's okay. And the Dahan, of course, as well. So the Dahan are going to attack back for only 2 instead of 4 here, but that's going to be okay because the invaders are only attacking for a single point. Next thing is I'm going to weave together this land and this land. So these 2 lands are going to be weaved. That means they're now together, the same land, which contains 4 Dahan and the 2 buildings, but now my presence is in that land, so I'm going to be able to Theological Strife, which is going to prevent 3 of that attack come in, and then the other 4 is going to be prevented by Grasping Tide, so that's 2 fear, and Defend of 4 is going in that land as well. So that is all good there. So while the Land Dwellers slow, this is already done. We have no more slow powers with Bringer, so we're basically done with Bringer this turn. So I think we've got a pretty good setup. Let's go ahead and resolve our event. This is going to be the Struggles of Growth. And this is Healthy Island, so it's going to say a painful crux point. Each spirit chooses either trade reach for deeper nature, so destroy 2 of your presence and gain a power card, or I can forget a power card, gain 2 energy. Oh, you know what? I never forgot a power card when I gained that major with Bringer, but I already talked about what I was going to forget. It was going to be the Death Falls Gently. So that was gone. And then it's a forget a power card, gain 2 energy, and move up to 2 of your presence up to 4 away. Interesting. I like the weave because I think the weave can do some pretty good stuff with Ocean in this game. So I don't really want to get rid of that with Bringer right now. We did say the Dread Apparitions isn't going to do huge amounts of work for us. I'm just wondering right now, can Dread Apparitions do anything interesting on the next turn, which is when I would be playing it. It's not looking hugely likely. The rest of this card doesn't change anything about our Ravage, so we know this is going to die. We know that won't build. We're not going to be able to Dread Apparitions that land in there for anything reasonable of any description. Well, actually, I say that, but it might not be true. If I reclaimed the Predatory Nightmares, I could. If I reclaim Predatory Nightmares, I could combo that with Dread Apparition in that land to at least stop a Blight, so it's not nothing. I don't want to forget the Predatory Nightmares because it's my only animal card. I've already forgotten the other one, so that's something to bear in mind here. So I can't forget that because my animal elements are really important. So, do I want to sacrifice 2 of my things to gain a power card? I've only got 4 presents on the island. I'm not really in love with doing either of that, but I could forget 1 of each because I do, you know, reclaim 1 and grow at range 0 is something Bringer likes to do quite a bit. So I think I probably will do that because I don't really want to. to forget a power as such here. Yeah, so with Bringer, I'm going to forget one of each of these. They're gone, or destroy them, should I say, and gain a power card. Question is, do I gain a minor or a major? I think I'll gain a minor for now. We have a little bit of a plan going on with Weave, and Weave takes four air elements to be able to do that, remove 2 invaders thing. So that might be a way to rush towards a tier level 3 victory a little bit later in the game. So that's something just to bear in mind here, and one of the reasons why I'm going minor instead of major. So I'm hitting set them on an ever-twisting trail, devouring ants, tormenting rotflies, and gifted twin days. Gifted twin days looking mighty fine right about now, isn't it? Yeah. Doesn't combo with the dread apparitions in a sense. It won't let me really do anything because I'd have to repeat gifted twin days, which doesn't really do anything. But it's a good card. Tormenting rotflies, it's okay. None of the rest of these are great. Set them on an ever-twisting trail, give us an isolated ability. We haven't talked yet about what's coming up with Scotland, which is the way they add towns after they ravage. So we're going to see that in just a moment. But I think the Gifted Twin Days is going to be the card here. So we'll get rid of that and put Twin Days in our hand. Not hugely exciting. It's often more exciting than it is at this exact moment, given that a lot of our other cards are more expensive. So we need to find cheaper cards to go with it. But it's okay. We can maybe make something work. So that's that. Other than that, on the side of Bringer, then we have to make a decision on Ocean's side. We can do destroy 2 of your things, and we can do the gain of presence thing as well with Ocean. Get a card, should I say? If I spike a 0-cost water card with Ocean, I get to level up. No, I don't. I was about to say I get to level up my Deep's abilities, but I don't because I've no Earth, so I can't do that. For the following turn, could I forget it? Deeps, gain 2 energy. No, I'm gonna do the thing with Ocean as well. So I'll forget this. That's 1, and I think 1 with Ocean. So they're destroyed with Ocean, and I'm gonna gain a minor power with Ocean as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we find Purifying Flame, Call to Bloodshed, Nature's Resilience, and Sap the Strength of Multitudes. So now we found some pretty nice ones here. Sap is obviously that water that we'd be looking for quite a bit, but we're shy on earth elements just a little bit here, and I'm wondering whether we want to go and try get an earth here. Sap. We've only one other air element to increase its range, but it still might be enough. We've already got in there, so defending 5 in there could be pretty nice next turn. So I think I'll take Sap. Nature's Resilience is really good, lets us remove Blight and stuff like that, but I think I'll take Sap. It's also cheaper, so we'll take the Sap, the Strength of Multitudes. Pretty nice draft for us there. Put that in our hand. We've already destroyed our presence, and we resolve the rest of this card. So ignore disease during builds this Invader phase, so that's not going to matter. And then 1 fear per board with disease, which at the moment is only 1 board. So we'll gain a single fear for that, and then when Invaders Ravage, if land has the hand, defend 2, so that's not going to matter. So let's go ahead then, and we'll do our fear card, which is the Theological Strife we talked about before. So we'll place a Strife on that and a Strife on one of them because our presents are in those 2 lands. And then we'll go ahead and we'll Ravage. So over here we're going to Ravage. That Strife comes off, the hand fight back, and they deal 2 points. So that now has 2 points of damage on it. And then we will Ravage over here, and we're Ravaging for we're ravaging for 3, but we have 4 Dahan in there, so the Dahan are going to attack back and they're going to kill these 2, which is going to be a further 4 fear, and that will get us our next fear card, which we already know it's going to be. It's going to be Discord, and that's going to give us some access to more strife on the following turn in a land with at least 2 invaders, so that can help us. And then so that's our ravages there, and then our ravage over here, as we say, that's ravaging for a total of 1. The hand attack back for 2, and they kill the town, which is another fear, and then that's a safe ravage. So then after the ravage, then we're going to do this trick with Scotland. So we're going to check, and this land has an adjacent town, so we're going to go put a town in there. Over here, this land also has an adjacent town, so we're going to go ahead and place a town in there, and the other 2 are coastal, so that's fine. Now we go build. So over here we're going to build a city. Over here we're going to build a city. Over here we're going to build a city. Building 3 cities in 3 lands is not really ideal news, and then this land, because it's not adjacent to any cities, is not going to build, so that's at least good. And then finally we'll explore, and it's the back-to-back, which hurts a lot. We talked about back-to-backs against Brandenburg Prussia, so we're hitting one here, so this is going to be this one is going to sting quite a bit, folks. So we're going to go explorer, and now we're going to go town into those coastal lands, and that one is going to hurt pretty badly. We're also going to escalate. So the escalation, let's read how the escalation works. So it's before exploring, on the single board with the most coastal buildings. So that is most clearly going to be board E over here on Oceans board. I'm going to add a town to the end lands with the fewest towns. So that's 2 players, which is 2 lands, and then the lands with the fewest towns in this case is going to be we can go in that coastal. Coastal's coming up pretty soon, isn't it? So I'm going to quickly come back here, and I'm going to, before I resolve the card, I'm just going to move these across so that I can see, because I have coastal faced up in the deck. So no, it's not the next card, but it's the one after. So sorry, if I bring that back up, you can see here. So it's going 1-1, 2-2. Oh yeah, it goes 2-2-3 coastal. Yeah, so actually coastal isn't going to be there for a minute or 2. That's okay. But I'm just wondering, so already I've put that in there. I'm wondering whether I put the town in with those cities, and I just kind of make that a land that I target with deeps. I think I will. So that's going to go in there. And then on the other side of the board, then I have a choice where I can place this, and I will, I think, just keep the stuff on the coast. Even though coast against Scotland isn't great news, but inland all the way randomly up there isn't great news either. So I'll go ahead and I think place this in here. It's not going to matter which, because I'm going to split it at the end of the turn anyway. So that's that. And I already did the explorers, so we did everything, and we advanced the Invader cards. And this is one of these spots where I'm not really able to comfortably deal with those jungles. I can deal with certainly one, and one I can probably deal with just fine, but the other 2 are pretty problematic. So we need to think about what we can do with them. Okay, so I have add a deeps. And then the 2 deeps triggers the damage. So first of all, I can just drown a town in a coastal land, and it seems pretty logical to me that drowning that town over there just makes a whole pile of sense. So that's drowned. It goes in here, gives me a fear, and then I convert that into 1 energy. So that's kind of pretty easy, I think. After that, then we've got add. Oh, that's to a different coastal land. Oh, ouch. I forgot. I can't add these deeps into the same land. So that is going to hurt quite a bit. Oh, that's going to hurt a lot. Oh. Didn't think about this at all, did we? Okay, so I can add deeps twice here. So, I mean, it seems obvious to me that deeps plus deeps are the two places we're putting these, but I'm not in love with this now because now I have a choice to make. Now, do I kill this city over here and just deal like no damage into this land over here? Or do I just deeps twice in there and take care of one town? So I have Discord for next turn in that land, and Discord in that land will let me add a strife to each of those buildings because both players can do it. So I have 2 strife in that land for next turn. And if I just kill off the town right now, that just sort of solves that problem. Provided I could get one more Dahan in there, that would wipe that land and take care of it kind of for good for the next 2 things, which is pretty important. So I think I'm going to have to do that. I also have the defend of 5 that we talked about before, but it's not great. Defend of 5 is not great. I can use defend of 5 in a different land in theory. I could also reclaim weave in there and weave these 2 lands together and go about it that way. That might be helpful. If I do the defend of 5 in the land as well. So basically, Theological Strife can take care of 2 cities. And then the defend of 5 takes care of town, explorer. And then if I put 4 Dahan in there, if I was to somehow gather up, if I reclaim, I can't reclaim dreams and weave. I can only reclaim 1. Oh. I could also call it the deeps and gather 2 of the explorers out of the land, which stops 2 of that damage. This is a tough spot. I think I have to anyway give up on the city. So I've got right now 1, 2, 3. I had a city over here, but I never had more than that. So I had 4, not 5. Because I hadn't built this city yet when these died. So I'm just wondering whether the weave together the fabric of place. I was scared I had actually lost myself the game by doing that, because I wondered whether the weave on the 2 lands together counted as 2 different lands towards the Scotland loss condition. I'm not sure if it actually does, which is a fairly interesting thing to note. Because I think they still count as lands, and the Scotland ruling, this is an oddball case, I'll need to look this up afterwards, the number of coastal lands. Yeah, I better be careful, I don't want to do that again. It didn't count this time because my cities in land 2 on this side of the board had been destroyed before I built that coastal city on this side of the board. But if I hadn't done it in that order, I technically would have had 5 lands coastal with cities in them there, so I better not do that again. So I think anyway, the long and the short of it is I have to destroy this. So I'm going to basically go add 1 in here, 1 in here, and then I'm going to go 1 damage per deeps in here, and then I'm going to do that twice, of course. So I repeat it, because I can repeat in the target land. So I'm just going to deal 2 damage in there. I don't love it at all. It feels very wasteful, but it is what it is. So that's a fear. I already did this, of course, on that side, so that was fine. All of this is done, and then we're going back to growth again. So definitely threw a spanner in the works a little bit here on this setup. A little bit unfortunate how all of that shook out, but we shall progress on and see how it goes. Now I think I am going to have to consider doing that weave play. So if I weave back, see, the problem is if I don't have a way to move the Han, then I'm only dealing 4 damage in that land. What about if I go G2 with ocean here, bottom, I have the 1 energy and I could play all 3 of these. So in theory, if I G2 with ocean bottom, I can get, as we said, discord in this land, 2 strife, and then the Call of the Deeps pulls the 2 explorers in, and then I have a defend of 5, and there's only technically 4 getting through, so I'm really protected from an edge case here, and if I get edge case at this point, it will ruin my entire game. So I was just thinking whether I should have gone ahead and killed this on the previous turn and just left the town in there. But if I left the town in there, any edge case ruins me, and I just can't get edge case here. So no, that was correct to kill the town. So if I do this way, then I have 4 damage back, and I can kill, for example, 2 towns. But then I can deal a bunch of damage in the slow phase after they build. Which would be pretty good, because I can go Thriving Choke Fungus plus, my Deeps abilities, essentially, which would be pretty nice. Put a Badlands in there, and then like Deeps twice in there, and just like clear the land, basically. So I think that looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and do that. So that's going to be bottom. That's going to give me 1 energy there. And then bottom, I have to do it over into these 2, into here, because I need to, I need the Sacred Site for Thriving Choke Fungus, unfortunately. And I can't do it with G3, because I could get my Sacred Site, but I can't get 3 card plays. And I'd like to play 3 card plays here, which would be pretty nice. I'm not going to have any of my 4 water abilities, as I said before, because I don't have the earth. But I think we're okay to do it this way, because I kind of need all 3 cards here as well, is the other thing, to be able to do this. Yeah, the Thriving Choke Fungus with the Deeps is going to be pretty important here. So let's go ahead and do that. So that's going to give me 1 there. I've done this. They both go in that ocean, so I'm kind of all in on this ocean. But clearly, this is our problem board right now. Sorry, at the end of the turn, I forgot to do this. How would I have split them? We didn't gain any new information. That the fin is gone. I think I probably would have just kept these at 2 and 2, and then the question was then which land I would put my my presence in, and which land I'd put the town in. And in this case here, we are in worse shape if Mountains explores, I would say, by a touch. So I will put this into, I guess, Sands. It's probably about 50-50 there. There's not much in it. We've got that big land over there. We also have 2 of those up there. So this makes 2 lands versus 4. Now you know what, there it's 3 and 3, isn't it? Yeah, 3 and 3. Okay, yeah, let's do it that way. That's fine. And I'll keep my presence here for kind of range across the rest of the island, which is pretty good. So that's fine on that side of things. On the side of Bringer, then we said we need to go reclaim the weave. So we'll do that. That goes top track. So that's going to give us 3 more, and it's going to allow us to play weave. Oh, and then we can't play any of our other cards, which is not ideal, but it is what it is. Yeah, well, we need to do this. So we're letting this go to hell over here, which is also problematic, because that's going to go Blight, and then it's going to go add another town after it ravages, and then it's going to build, and it's going to be all kinds of problematic over there, which is horrible news. But unfortunately, it just is one of them things. We're probably going to have to go Blight and then Blight Cascade on that land, which is a total of 3 Blight, and just hope it doesn't come up again. And then there's our weave there. That's clearly going into that land there. And that's going to be my total of weave. That's going to give me level 1 of this again, because I unlock my moon, and level 1 of this over here as well. which could have helped with the -1, but I don't want to take away the hand's attack damage in there this turn. So I think all of that should be pretty good. Yeah, okay. So let's weave these two lands. Pity we don't have more to hand in there, but it is what it is. So those get weaved. We get to... hold the boat. Oh yeah, no, we already gained this. Sorry, I was thinking we were 4 fear short of this fear card, but no, we have this fear card ready to go. So it's okay. So we're going to turn the next one up with Spirits May Yet Dream, and that's going to be Plan for Departure. Still at level 1 would be each player may gather a town into a coastal land. Okay. And if the oceans are in play, we get to gather the cards. Actually, how does that work? Word with ocean? On boards with your presence, treat oceans as coastal wetlands for powers and blight, not for fear cards. So it doesn't work, like I said. So I wouldn't. We won't get to drown invaders with that. So that's okay. But yeah, no, weave is still happening in there. That's fine. That's getting turned up. So that's done. The enticing ability then is going to. I'll put it into a random land just in case the event forces us to ravage somewhere. I don't want to put it in there, so I'm going to put that into... I think I'll put it in this land here. So that'll be fine with the beast. And then on this side of the board we have defend 5 because I'm in the land, so that's at range 0. So we go defend 5 in this big horrible land. I have Call of the Deeps here, which is going to gather from this land because they're now joined. So I'll gather the two of them in there and they get drowned. Both of them go there and I'll convert that into 1 energy. Because it's the ocean, I get to gather 2 cards, of course, here. Call of the Deeps, I'll have a quick look. It's the first time we've played it. Sorry, that's not ocean. Call of the Deeps, there it is. And it's very thematic because I am, of course, the Deeps. So that'll be that one. So I already did that. And then my slow powers are this time going to look like level 1 and level 2 again, and then level 1 and level 3 again. So we need to, of course, find some earth cards, but that's okay. This is done. And everything else is done on that side of things. So let's go ahead and flip our event this time. And our event is No Bravery Without Numbers, stages 1 and 2. Yeah, so we're still in stage 2. So invaders do not ravage in lands unless there are more invaders than the current terror level, which will be not stopping anything, unfortunately. The next thing is in each land with beasts, 1 damage per beast. So that's okay. We have 1 damage per beast over here. And actually that land contains a beast over there, so that'll help slightly. So we'll deal 1 damage per beast in here, which is going to deal with 1 of those cities. So actually, if I think about this now, I want to kill... That's only going to build once, isn't it? Yeah. So... either way, it's going to build a town, right? Yeah, so it's not going to matter. I'll kill the city in this case, or I'll deal 1 damage to the city. And then in each land, push 1 Dahan per Badlands or disease to lands without Badlands disease. Badlands or disease. So over here, I have a Dahan in that land, so I have to push that. And I can push it in here and team them up in there. It's probably reasonable. We're not going to do anything with this land, as we say, so we won't be pushing it in there. So yeah, we didn't get to push 1 more in there, unfortunately, but it's fine. We'll do that. So all of that's done, and then we'll go ahead and we won't ravage. We'll resolve this discord, which is highly important for the rest of our turn. So each player adds a strife in a different land with at least two invaders. Oh, dearie me. I didn't read the card correctly the last time. That was dreadful news. In a different land with at least 2 invaders. Well, I never stopped and thought about that. So in that case then here, because they're the same land, I wouldn't get to... I don't think this will work with weave. Target land and land adjacent to it become a single land for this turn, so they're not different lands anymore. So okay, what I would have had to do in this case then is I would have actually had to have done the enticing ability, which would have gone into here, because if I just read the bloody card face up in front of me, I wouldn't have wasted this enticing ability. So I would have had to enticing into here, which is now going to take 4 attack points away from this land. So it's now ravaging for 3, 6, 8, 10. 4 of it is taken away, and I've defended, so it's attacking for 6 and I've defended for 5. So technically I don't need to place a strife in there at all. So I can just dedicate my strife elsewhere, because I know that it's taken care of, right? So I defended a 5. I'm stopping each of them attacking for 1, so that's 4 away, and it's attacking for a total of 10. So it's basically 9 of it is stopped. I'm only going to get to attack back for 2 with the hand, which is unfortunate, but you know, again, this was face up on the table, so it's known information here. So I'm not going to ruin my video by not, you know, following the instruction on a known info card. So I won't waste the strife, obviously, putting into there. Now it has to be in a land with at least 2 invaders, which in this case would be, for example, I can just put 1 in here, and then a different land would be, I guess, up here into there, something like that. So not nearly as good as I thought it was, so, you know, a bit unfortunate, but it's okay. So now that's resolved. Now we'll go ahead and we'll do our ravage. So we're going to blight up here, nothing over here, and then now, as we said, that's going to attack. Only attacking back for 2 with the hand. It's a safe attack, so we attack back for 2 with the hand, and we kill. Oh yeah, this is the situation where I was talking about, where we would build a city, but it's okay, we'll still do it. So we kill the city, which is going to build back in a second, but we get 2 fear for that, so that's okay. Now we will we didn't do any ravage into the coast, obviously, so that's fine. After the ravage, we do this thing. Now, how is this worded? Because now we've got this oddball thing where we've got a land with just both coastal and inland. Oh, dearie, dearie me. Each inland land. How does this card work? Target land and a single land adjacent to become a single land. It has the terrain and land number of both lands. Oh, I'm going to have to take a second to Google this, folks. Sorry, I hope I remember to cut this out of the video after the fact. Let's quickly check this, because this is going to be important. Weave together the fabric of place inland. Let's see. Okay, so the way inland works, so we seem to have an answer here. The way inland works, by the looks of things, sorry, let me come back here, is it checks if it's coastal, and if it isn't, it's considered inland. So I guess that's probably written in the rules pretty clearly somewhere, but I kind of forgot. So in this case, we're checking, is the land coastal? Yes, it is, so it's not inland. If it's not coastal, it's inland. That's kind of a not relationship there. So in this case, it is coastal, so it won't count for the Scotland 6, which is good news. So let's go ahead and do Scotland 6. We'll go up here and we'll put our awful town into this awful land up here. That's up in there. This is the one we almost cleared earlier on in the game as well, if you remember, with the Death Falls Gently, but unfortunately that's just the way it's worked. So that's that one, and then the 2 of these are both inland, which is something at least. So then we'll go ahead and build. That's going to build a big fat city up there. It's nasty. We're going to build a city down here. That's nasty. And then this one isn't touching a city, so at least it doesn't build. Let's go ahead now and reveal the sands. So we've got sands, wetlands, wetlands, sands. Oh dear, oh dear, 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 dear. Okay, well, at least I moved that one over there. Remember, I almost put a town into that land, but I decided at the last minute to move it out, so that's something. So let's explore here, and as we remember, we have 2 coastal sands. So we're under pressure here, folks. This is looking pretty rough, I have to say. Pretty rough. Let's see if we can pull this back. So we go town, and then we go explore in this case. And of course, before we did all of that, we would have had to hit our Scotland thing, which is going to be our on the board with the most coastal buildings, which clearly here again is board E, and we will put a town into the land with the fewest towns. So again, that's before the explore, although no, it didn't matter actually, because technically we put a town into this land with the explore, but it wasn't going in there anyway, obviously. So we'll put one in there, and in this case then we have to pick one of these wetlands to put one in, and I suppose I'll choose the one without a blight. Why not? Yeah, looking rough here, folks. Looking rough. That's a lot of buildings on that side of the board. But again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, not 5 lands with coastal city. So that is at least something. So, what have we got here? We have deeps, we have thriving choke fungus. So thriving choke fungus in this case, I think we said we knew pretty clearly where that was going. So this is into a jungle. I almost panicked and just remembered the thriving choke fungus can, of course, go into a jungle. I almost panicked for a moment. So let's go ahead and let's put a badlands and a disease in there. Then let's go ahead and resolve our deeps. So our deeps will most definitely be placing a deeps token in here. And then I have to put one somewhere else, and because we just explored sands over here, we'll go ahead and place one in there as well. And I can do that because that's a land I'm in both, so that's thankfully pretty okay. So they go in there, and now I get to choose 1 damage per thing to buildings only. So in this case I can do 2 damage per thing, but because it's the Badlands I get to go 3, and then I can repeat it and go 3 again, which I think I probably will in this case. And because it's a repeat, I get the Badlands the second time, so that's how that works. So I'll go 1 damage per thing in there, so I've got 2 of them plus a Badlands, so that's 1 damage per thing, which is killing that, and then I'm going to repeat it in there as well, and I'm going to kill that as well, and that's going to net me another 4 fear. So the plan for departure is going to let us, this turn, each player may gather a town into a coastal land. So that can be the same land. So I've read it correctly this time. So plan for departure in this case will allow me to gather that town from there into that coastal land and make a horrible big mess in that mountain, but it will let me solve that ravage next turn, which is quite nice. That's at least something. The other thing that I get to do is I get to, at the end of this turn, of course, choose where all of that weaved stuff is going to end up. And needless to say, as I've just described, we'll keep the 2 towns in here. We'll keep the 2 deeps in there as well, because they need to be on coastal lands, of course. This is going to be going away. The Dahan, where do I keep the Dahan? So I drown Dahan when I drown land, so I probably don't want to keep those Dahan in there. I think I'll push them out of there. I'm going to reclaim now is the only other thing with this. So I'm just looking. Next turn I get to gather a town into a coastal land, but I definitely want to gather that out of there. So I don't actually want to dedicate 2 of my town gathers to solve that land. So I'm going to stop and think about this a little bit more clearly for a second. So I don't want to have to gather both of them out of there with that plan for departure, because I want to definitely solve that with the plan for departure. Actually, I'll take a different colour for this to make it just a little bit easier to follow what I'm doing. Where are my colour pieces? Here they are. Let's use purple. I should be getting used to doing this as best practice. So I'm going to solve that with that. Hopefully that looks a bit different on the thing, it seems to. And then the other thing I will do is I can at least gather 1 of the towns out of there. So that's maybe something I can do over that side. Or I could maybe just gather that out of there and then use a defend power in here instead. So I think I probably will do that instead. So I think I'm going to reclaim the Grasping Tide and Grasping Tide in there because it's good value. So that's fine. So I'll keep the Dahan in there is the long story short on how that's all going to work. The Badlands itself then, do we keep the Badlands in there? Probably not, because that'll edge case me and kill a Dahan if I get a +1 damage. If I get +1 damage, I would actually kill a Dahan there. So I'm going to leave the Badlands in that land. I'll keep the Dahan, the Deeps tokens, and the things in that land, and we can take back our reminder token. It's always fun to resolve a weave card and do the thing at the end of turn where you decide where they go. You're super powerful. You're getting to merge different lands and unmerge them and do all that kind of fun stuff. But that's it for the end of that turn. So we're going a little bit long on this one, folks. Unfortunately, Scotland does tend to be on the longer side of things. But you know, that's the way it goes, I guess. Hopefully you're enjoying the show, and if you're sticking with me here 2 hours into the game, hopefully you're a bit of a fan of the longer ones, which I am myself. So you know, it's nice to be able to create content that I enjoy, in a sense. You know, I like to kind of talk through things, and it seems from some nice feedback from you out there, whoever has been giving me those nice feedback, saying that they're into that and they like this kind of style of play. So yeah, look, really appreciate it to everybody who's been supporting me and backing me despite all of the the grindy nature of the games that I'm playing. So anyway, alas, let's not waste any further time. We're back into the growth phase here. We have that one solved. We have this, of course, solved with deep. So at the very minimum, anyway, we know for sure that ocean is going to be reclaiming here. And I do dare say that I'm quite enjoying playing with ocean this time around, which I'm very happy to report. I'm having quite a bit of fun with this. So we're going to reclaim. We're going to gain 2 energy this time. I'm wondering at what point do I go major power button here. I think because I'd have to forget a card now without playing one, I think now I maybe go minor this time and then major on my G3 next turn. I think that might be how I look at that. And I go for like a 4-card play with whatever next turn. So I think maybe that's the way to go about that. So I think at the minute we're still minor powers for now on the side of ocean. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to be gaining 2 energy. Obviously, I'm going to have to gather stuff back into the ocean. This is where you've got that kind of tied in and out. So we're going to have a lot of our stuff away from the ocean this time. So that's definitely going back in there because I've no choice on that matter. The other side of things then I'm going to have to choose. And I think it's going to be pull you out of there. And then in this case, I've got Flesh Rot Fever, Gift of Living Energy, Renewing Rain, and Steam Vents. So we've got 2 Water Earth cards. So we're doing pretty well here in terms of our elements on our drafts, which is pretty nice. Gift of Living Energy is the best card by far of these 4, but it's not good enough to veer away from picking up one of those coveted earth elements, which I mentioned we really need, and we're finding 2 options for earth and water here. Steam Vents, of course, is potentially very powerful if you've got a mobile spirit who can get around the island and get in at range 0. It's also not a bad one for Volcano because they've got plus range all the time. But for ocean here, we're going to struggle, I think, to find spots where we're really in the lands that we need to destroy the towns with there. So despite the fact that Steam Vents is a lot better of a card than Renewing Rain, it may be that I need to look at Renewing Rain as an option here. So if target land is jungle or sands, I can remove a blight. So I'm going Blight Cascade here now. And I'm just wondering if I instead gather you out of there, put you in there where it was, and then take the Renewing Rain and use it to heal a blight that's cascaded into that land right now. I'll just use that as a guaranteed cleanup. Use it once and then forget it to a major next turn is what I'm thinking with that card right now. So if I do that, because Steam Vents, as I say, it's gonna be a struggle. I'm probably not hitting the triple earth all that often. So assuming I just get rid of them and play the Renewing Rain this turn, I said already I need to play the either the Grasping Tide or sap the strength because they're both defend into that land. So assuming I go Renewing Rain, if I want to make the most of hitting at least the level over here with the flipping the deeps thing, I'd need to play one of my other Earth cards. Maybe Tidal Boon to get some energy back over into the pocket of Bringer, which could be kind of nice. And then the other card I'd need to play here would be, let's say, Grasping Tide. Well, actually, I could play the sap because I'm in there now, haven't I? So it could look like this, and that would give me all 3 levels of this deeps, and it would give me level 1 and 2 over here. And then I'd get to hang on to Swallow the Land Dwellers as one of my Earth cards for next turn. Swallow the Land Dwellers right here doesn't really do... Well, I've got a stage 3 card coming, so Swallow the Land Dwellers could be very helpful for taking care of explorers into coastal lands, but the problem is I'm not really in any coastal lands. So yeah, we don't want to be playing Swallow the Land Dwellers now. That's not for now. Grasping Tide has range, which Sap the Strength doesn't. So I know I could, in theory, G3 out and kind of come out of the ocean and sap next turn, but I have an option to use sap right now, which seems pretty good. So I'm not also pushing for fear with Grasping Tide like I might be next turn. So that could make the difference next turn. So I think that's not it. So I think we're good. I think I have a plan there in terms of all of those cards. And then next turn then, I've got some cheap cards in hand where I can maybe go for a major. So I think this is it. And then that is where we're going to solve the Blight Cascade. And then we can also do some deeps damage in there. Now what we're going to be able to do here is drown 2 lands with the deeps this turn. So we can go like drown this and then maybe drown that, or maybe just drown that twice. So what is that? That'd be 4 damage now. So if I put 1 more deeps in there, that'll be, and then repeat it twice, repeat deeps in there twice, that would be basically 6 damage in there, which solves that land and then drowns it. And then I get to push some of the deeps tokens out of there into there, for example. That could be pretty good. Yeah, because we're not going to get to drown 2 lands. We get to repeat the power, but I'm going to have to repeat it twice in there. Yeah, I think that works. The only other thing I guess that I could do, if I do this the other way and I don't get greedy on the Renewing Rain, if I took the Swallow the Land Dwellers instead, played this instead, put the Renewing Rain back in my hand, and I take an opportunity to drown 2 lands here. As I want to get greedy with the drown. So if I put that back in my hand instead, and I just cascade up into one of these lands, and then, as I said before, leave that in there and take that out of there, now what I can do is I can drown the town. I can deeps in here once to kill that building, and then it will swallow the land. And then I can also, I can do it in the other order, right? Because I can do this at range 1 into here. I would drown those 2 things, unfortunately, but it is what it is. I'm going to lose them, so it's fine. So I would basically drown this land and then drown this land. No, I wouldn't even drown that land. I'd leave it there. I could just drown that later, but I would just deal some extra damage into this land is what I'd do, which is fine. So I think that works. Yeah, I think it works. But which... Yeah, this is a little bit tough. Well, yeah, I think just keeping this here and just using that as an option for damage later is better than trying to double up and drown 2 different lands. And then I could, as I say, go all in on this land and try to drown 1 land with deeps twice. But this way I get to kind of drown 1 and also push some stuff in here and deal some damage in there, which is pretty nice. It'll only kill a town or whatever, but it's better than nothing, and it gets me to kind of tick away on that. Actually, I think I get to kill a city there. Yeah, because I get to go here and here, then deal the damage. Yeah, okay, so I'd get to kill a city this way. So I think this is better. I think I got there. I think this is what I want to do. So that was an extra thing into my hand. That still gives me all the elements that I need. It won't give the energy over to Bringer, but that's okay. So we have that lined up there, and it does mean I don't get to solve the Blight Cascade. But now I'm going to get to move in this way and potentially remove the Blight from here with Renewing Rain. So I think we're okay that way. On the side then of Bringer can gift it, Bringer can gift a Twin Days this turn and let this character over here do something with, I don't know, sap twice. No, that doesn't do anything. So gift a Twin Days isn't really where I need to be. Can I do anything into this mess with Night Terrors? Don't think so. If I gain a power card and I gain a minor and play it with Dread Apparitions, in theory I could Dread Apparitions into that land, hit the 3rd level of the innate, and maybe go about it that way. That's maybe something I could do, but it doesn't look hugely likely. I've also just noticed one thing I could do on the side of Ocean after all. If I use my Spirits May Yet Dream to give Ocean 1 extra Earth, I could hit the 3rd level actually after all, so I might still do that. So I might decide to swap the sap with the Grasping Tide here, so I could hit the 3rd level of this innate, which could be quite nice. So that's another thing I could do. But other than that, reclaiming the Weave isn't really doing anything for me here. Oh, how does Weave work now with Drowning Lands? I wish I'd have known I was going to draw Weave together, the Fabric of Play, so I'd have known whether I would how it would work with all this oceany stuff that's going on here. So what? So yeah, I think it's one of them where you only get to drown 1. I'll go on. I'll Google this one as well because this seems pretty important. If I get to drown 2 lands with Weave here, this will be pretty good. So let's take a moment. So weave together the Fabric of Place and then Deeps Ocean. Oh, go on. Let's see. Hey everyone. Just need to come in here real quick in the middle of the show. Sorry to interrupt. I'm about to come back with a ruling that I found as part of playing the game. I took some time, as you can see, to go and find the answer. I actually come back in here with the incorrect ruling. So this is obviously a very corner case scenario with Weave Together the Fabric of Place and Deep's Ocean. I'm going to come back now and I'm going to tell you that the combination does not work where you would weave 2 lands together and sync both. Turns out it actually does work, and I didn't find the correct answer until after the playthrough, when I went back to Discord and I checked that there was a kind of an overruling of the first ruling that was given. So the overruling and the final word came from Iron Eye. If you're on the Discord, you'll know that Iron Eye is very much an authority on those things. So I take that as the final answer. So it could have been that I could have gone back to the game and taken an approach where I would weave together two lands, sink them both, and kind of go about sort of taking over the whole island, which could have been a cool approach. But alas, obviously that wasn't an option for me given what I understood the ruling to be. However, please do hold tight. There's a bit left in the video, but there's plenty of really good action to come. Pretty dramatic ending to the game as well. So please do stick on and stick with it, because it's a pretty interesting and a pretty fun one. So that's all from me. Sorry for the interruption. Back to the show. All I can do is laugh. Okay, sorry about all of that. I was back and forth. I was almost ready to come back and start telling you about this fantastic combo that I found, because I found a Reddit post where it seemed very sure that you could sink two lands when you combined weave with the sink. But then, just to be sure, before I came back, as I said, I really don't want to ruin my video if I get this wrong. I'll go to the Discord and I'll check, because I didn't have my phone because it was dead, so I had to go online and I had to log into Discord and remember what my username and password was. So that's a whole bunch of stuff, but I got the answer. So massive thank you for Astrolabe for responding so quickly and giving me the correct answer, and that is that you cannot do the combo. So if you sink two lands, or if you sink a land that's been weaved with another land, at the end of the turn you have to pick which one stays sunk. So you can do funny things here, like if I was to weave the two jungles here, for example, together, and then I sink it, I could sink in theory and create an ocean, an inland lake, so to speak, over here by jumping in at the end of turn. So you can do funny cool things with it, but ultimately not probably the most powerful thing to do right at this moment in the game. I still do think that can potentially come up though, but what I do want to look for now is I want to look and see if I can find a way to stop this Blight Cascade over here, if I can. So I can go at range 1, gain a power, I can go into this land and I can target in there with my enticing ability if I find a minor power that contains both moon and animal, which is not an easy feat, but it can be done, and I can find one that costs 0 or 1. So, it's possible. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to look for a minor power here and then maybe transition to searching for majors again in a while if I need to, but we still do have the weave plan. So for now, I'm just going to look here for a minor power to go with the Dread Apparitions, which could solve this Blight Cascade for us here. So let's go ahead and see if I can find one. And I found one. Prowling Panthers. I actually found two. I found Veil of the Night's Hunt as well, which is really nice, and I found Prowling Panthers, Veil of the Night's Hunt, Portents of Disaster, and Drought. So I'm drawn pretty well in this game when it comes to my innate powers. So this turn I can take Veil of the Night's Hunt or Prowling Panthers. Veil is just a significantly better card, and we're doing some pretty good stuff with defend. So let's take the Veil. Prowling Panthers not a great card anyway. We'll take the Veil. That's going to be our turn this turn, so we'll throw the two of them away. So we got lucky, and what I can do here is potentially push some Dahan into that land to counter attack, but no, because all the Dahan are going to do -1 damage, so that won't do anything. So anyway, we'll go from top track, which is going to give us 4 energy. 1, 2, 3, 4, because we remember, of course, that Bringer doesn't have a bottom track. So let's see if we can try to get through the rest of this game a little bit quicker here, guys, because I know it's been a little bit of a long one, but hopefully you're along with me for the ride. And we found out some stuff about weaving and deeps and all sorts of funny stuff like that. But here's where we're going now. We did say that we're going to have to go into that land there. We could go in there as well, but that'll be fine, and that'll give us a little bit more reach across the rest of the lands over here. Only other thing is, I guess if I go in here, that gives me the access to that inland there, which will be a problem for potentially ocean. So having more inland presence is probably better. So even though that gives me access to less lands, this gives me access to only 1, but this will give me access to 1 and 2. So this gives me access to 1 more land, but we're going to start sinking lands over there anyway. So I'm going to go ahead, into here. And that's going to be my land for that one. I'll play the Veil and I'll play the Dread Apparitions. That's going to give me access to 3, 3, and 1. Which will also give me access to my threshold on this side, which will give me access to what I said on the other side. So I'm going to swap this out. I'll replace this with Grasping Tide, and that's going to give me all 3 levels of deeps, and it's going to give me all 3 levels of the deeps too, which is super, super cool, because I've got my triple moon, as well as now my triple earth as well from the Bringer's ability. So Bringer's left an 8, being absolutely fantastic as per usual. It's been absolutely wonderful in this game so far, as well, of course, as the Enticing ability, which is just insanely powerful. So super, super strong. I love the Spirit so much. But alas, let's continue on. So we've got access to this. We've got access to the 3rd level of this, which would let us gather something here. It'll actually let us gather out there. It'll let us gather that out of there and put it in there. So I technically don't have to play Swallow the Land Dweller. So I can still replace... Just wondering, can I replace that with that? And then what does this do for us here? Can this actually give us access to... It doesn't give us the range, does it? So how does this work? So we go drown all thing, it becomes permanently part of the ocean, yeah, but I'm still not actually technically in that land, so it's part of the ocean, but these will be considered 2 separate lands. So I wouldn't have, pretty certain I wouldn't have a Sacred Side in here to target into this land with the Renewing Rain. So I won't actually have a target for Renewing Rain if I do it like this, so that's not going to work. So I will swap that back for the Swallow the Land Dwellers, which is okay. And I will still just use that to drown this. So I'll just use my my gather in this case. There's maybe clear out that land is probably just a little bit better. So that's fine. So I'll go ahead here and I'll go Dread Apparitions in this land. When powers generate fear, defend 1, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to defend 1. So I'll generate 1 single fear and defend 1 in this land. Now I'm going to go into that land Enticing. Each invader does -1 damage. Then I'm going to gather up to 1 explorer or town. I'll gather you in there. And then I'm going to say each invader does -1 damage. So all of those invaders are dealing -2 damage this turn. So as of now, only 1 single point of damage is getting through. Yes, we can be edge case, but it is what it is. So that's done. So we'll put that in there just to remind us of what's going on in that land. We were obviously 1 element shy of being able to hit the last level, which would gather loads of stuff from there, which would have been amazing, but it is what it is. And now what we can do is we can go Veil of the Night's Hunt to push some Dahan, because we don't have anything better to do with them, I don't believe. We're not defending anything, so we're defending here, we're counter-attacking with the hand, so we've no real reason to do anything on that side of things. We're going to drown those Dahan anyway, as we said, but that's okay. Otherwise here then, do we have a reason to push any Dahan anywhere? No, not really. We can like ping an Explorer here, but it's not really doing much of anything for us, so... Yeah, if we just push the hand in there, it just doesn't do anything. So none of that really does much of anything. So each hand deals 1 damage to a different invader. Can't even see one good place to replace or reposition the hand, really. Push some here into some different lands here, I mean, but it's not really... That's the type of card that would be better off used on another turn, next turn after the stage 3 explores. For now, I've no good use for it. I'll just use this to ping here, ping him for 1 and push him in there. Just group up all of that stuff, why not? And then one of them deals 1 to him, but that does nothing, so that's all fine. So Veil the Night's Hunt was useless, except for its wonderful what do you call it, elements. We do get to use Spirits May Yet Dream, so let's flip this one with Spirits May Yet Dream, and that's still going to be stage 1. Each player, again, another strife, adds a strife to a town this time, so that can be potentially helpful. So that could be good. So let's go ahead then and think about that for next turn. That could help us maybe, do some defendy stuff over here, maybe something like that. So all good there. We also, of course, as we said, give Bringer an earth element over here, which is going to let them get access to their innates, which is all good. They do, of course, have a fast power here, 2 more fear, defend a 4 into this land. That should be good. And then we're good to go. Other than that, so that's done. Yeah, all that's done. So let's go ahead and flip an event and hope we don't get wrecked. It is Investigation of Dangers, which is terror level 1 at the moment. On each board, add an explorer to a land without invaders or Dahan. So on each board, explore in the land without invaders or Dahan. We do have candidates on both boards. So explore without invaders or Dahan, we can go in there because that's got lots of stuff that can potentially kill that. And then on this side of the board, we just emptied out this land, but we will throw an explorer back in there. So that's fine. We would have had invaders dealing plus damage in lands with Tina, so that wouldn't have mattered either. Okay, so then we have each beast destroys 1 explorer, and then add a beast on a board without 1. So, okay, we just get to kill this. So that's good. Kill that, and then on the other side of the board does nothing. And then finally we have Rouse the Spirits. Each spirit with at least 3 Dahan among its lands, which is Bringer, may use a slow power now, which does nothing. Okay, so more or less does nothing. Investigation of Dangers, not so dangerous this time around. So okay, let's go ahead and do our fear cards here. We've got the plan for departure that we talked about before, so we're going to gather you into that coastal land over there, and then on this side of the board we are going to gather you out of there and put you in there. No, sorry, what did we talk about before here? We said we're going to drown that. Gather 1 into a coastal land. So in fact, I want to gather you out of there into there, right? Because we said we're going to drown this, then we're going to wipe it out with the deep. So yeah, we're just going to load up in that land and make that a big giant problem land. So that's okay, and it clears out some of this inland. So we're good on that one. Then that's resolved. 3 away from the next fear card. So let's go ahead and ravage now. So we have a safe ravage up here, thankfully. We didn't do the Blight Cascade we talked about. Over here, these 2 die because that's defended. 2 dead and 2 fear. No and no. So then we didn't add any ravage thing, so we didn't have that. So now we have after ravage. We'll go ahead and we'll go in here. We'll add you there. And we will go ahead in here and we will add you there because there's a source for that as well. So that's fine. Then we'll go ahead and build. So this gets removed. This over here is going to build a city. This over here is going to build a city. And then this coastal land is safe. Didn't consider the fact for placing my presence here that this was just about to build and ravage, but that's okay. Hopefully we should be fine. And then we'll go ahead and we'll explore here. And let's see if, I was going to say if that's a sands, we'll be sinking a sands. So in fact we basically hit the mountains wetlands, which is maybe the worst. No, double up on jungles might have been a little bit tough there, but anyway, it's okay. We'll go ahead and we'll explore. So we'll go explore, then we'll go town in this land over here, and we'll go town again. So we're missing all of our wetlands really for a long time, but we finally hit one here, which is going to be explore, and there are no, of course, as we said before, coastal wetlands in this particular configuration. So we've no escalation as well because it's stage 3 and we're not playing adversary combinations. We're going to have coastal lands coming up next, so we really need to get into this mountain over here and start solving that problem, but hopefully we can do so. So Slow phase. Target spirit gains 2 energy and may push a thing and 2 from one of their lands. So we're going to give 2 energy over here to bring her. And they can push a town and up to 2 from one of their lands. I can push that town out of there, for example. That's one thing I can do. We're now getting to the point where if I have a sacred side in here, I can come over and weave this with this land, and I can like clear that whole land out with weave, which is pretty good. But we didn't hit jungle, so actually hitting jungles here would have been really nice because that would have let us do that. So we really actually wanted to hit jungles in this case. But the coastal lands card here is actually going to be a jungle. This is going to be a coastal land because this is going to be sunk, so that will work for there. So that's a plan for a turn or so from now. Next turn, this is going to ravage. This is going to ravage up here, and I'm potentially going to have to take blight on that one. But if I push this out of here, I can maybe do something to defend this. Sap the strength of multitudes could, if this is sunk, I could grow in here and then sap in there. So actually that can deal with that land. So I'm going to push that there with the tidal boon. It's just one extra kill basically in that land. When I do that thing, I do a turn from now, and then I gain my 2, and I'm not going to push up to 2 because I want to get them to defend against that city. So that's that. Next thing is I'm going to drown and explore a town and a Dahan in here. So I'll drown that, which is 1 more fear, and that gives us that card, which is going to allow us to strife a town. And then I'm going to sacrifice this for 1 energy, or convert it into 1 energy, and look for maybe a major next turn, as we said. Then the other thing then is now I have my deeps, so I get to do all 3 of this. So this is basically get the deeps into 3 different lands. So we'll go deeps obviously in here, and then deeps obviously in here, and then after that I guess deeps over here, because that's starting to look like it's going to be a problem, I think. And we don't care about this land for now. We've got explore and then build before that becomes a problem. And we can always just defend it, so that's okay for now. So let's go ahead then and go 1 damage per thing. So this is at range 1, and I get to do this twice. So at range 1, and then I get to repeat it in target land or land that you're in. So the range 1, oh yeah. The order of this isn't as good. Yeah, I was thinking I had a better ordering earlier on, but it's fine. So I'll go target range 1 into here. 1 damage per thing to buildings only. So that's 2 damage. We'll kill 1 of these towns, and we'll generate 1 fear. Then if there's at least 3 things and no thing, but there isn't, so that's fine. Now I get to repeat that power in here. So now I get to go 1 damage per thing in here, kill this city, which is 2 fear, but now I do get to trigger the next thing. And let's just bring it up here to let people have a little look at what it looks like. It's this, level 2. If at least 3 of these tokens are here and no buildings are present, I get to drown all whatever, there's nothing there. Push all but 2 of these, so I'll push 1 of them and I'll push it back in there. This is why I was saying the other order would have been nicer, but it's fine. And then target permanent becomes part of the ocean, and I'll flip all remaining things. So 2 of these are left, and I don't love the way they've done this, unfortunately, with the tokens on the deeps thing here. It doesn't look particularly nice. I really like the token pack, but these particular tokens, they're almost indistinguishable one side from the other. So that's not going to play great from a viewer's perspective at home. But sure, look, we'll tick along. So that one is not relevant anymore. This one is all done. So it was a pretty nice turn. Very nice to get that kind of deep stuff tipping away. That element is gone. All of these are gone. And our economy is coming together fairly well for the most part. I think we've been pretty happy with I think the extra water element has done us really nice work. The extra moon element has come into play at least once, maybe even twice here. So I'm really happy actually with how this particular growth patterns are working out. So we'll dump them 2, and they're gone into my discard pile, which is off to the side here. And I've only got Gifted Twin Days in my hand with Bringer, and we're back to growth phase here. So we've got, basically, we said Ravage in here, and we would like to grow out here if we can and solve that with a defend power. We have set Strength of Multitudes, and that would work together with, call it, the deeps, which could at least, stop this, which isn't particularly... I can pull that and then that in there, and it's worth an energy first, but it does give us the other air that I need for the sap, which is something. I have Renewing Rain, which now at least I can target into this land if I create a sacred site for myself there. So that's kind of one thing I can do as well. And then the other thing is that's 2 zeros. And at this point, I'd be looking for a major. I could look for a 3 cost to play with one of my other 1s in my hand. I'm looking for a 3 cost major. Or even I can go top track and just get a 5 cost major if I play with these 2. So I think I will go looking for a major. So let's do that. So on the side of Bringer, or on the side of Ocean here, we're going to go major digging this time, because we're starting to build up a little bit of a stockpile of energy. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. We haven't decided which track we're going to go off just yet. We're probably playing the 2 of these cards, and then we've got Pyroclastic Flow. We've got Pent Up Calamity, so pretty good cards, even if they're not perfect elements. We now have Flow like Water, Reach like Air, and we've got Walls of Rock and Thorn. Walls of Rock and Thorn can be thresholded with Renewing Rain in my hand, which is something. What does that give me? That gives me 2 damage, defend of 8 in a mountain or a jungle. Not necessarily relevant this turn, but could be in theory relevant next turn. I mean, I say not relevant this turn. It could just give me, 4 damage plus a Badlands into that land, which isn't irrelevant by any stretch of the imagination. Just means I wouldn't have the range for the sap. What does Flow like Water, Reach like Air do for me here? It's obviously, element-wise, could be really nice. What does it do? Target spirit gives +1, so it can target me or Bringer. Gives us extra range, which is nice in theory for at least Bringer, or for Ocean. They may push one of their presence to an adjacent land, bringing up to 2 explorers and towns, and then they may also bring cities with them. So this is a push stuff into the drink card. So 2 towns and 2 cities into the drink is what this can do, which sounds mighty fine to me right about now. Push all of that into the drink immediately. Is that what we're talking about here? One of their presence to an adjacent land. Powers considered this ocean tile an adjacent or a coastal wetlands. Yeah. Oh my god, that's absolutely broken. Flow like water, reach like air. I really enjoy this card. I've said that, I think, on the channel before. Really like Flow like water, reach like air. It's a super fun and cool card, and it finds some really nice spots, and this is surely an absolutely very nice spot for that particular card right about now. So let's consider taking the Flow like water, reach like air. We're going to forget a card for that. Don't think I want to forget any of the cards necessarily that I have here. I want to play Renewing Rain because it's got the earth. Call of the Deeps, I now have my air. Oh no, I need the Call of the Deeps to threshold that, sorry. So my turn could look like this. With those 4 cards, if I go bottom track and I can afford all of that, that would look like this. It would mean I could put something in here. So what did that? I'd push 1 presence from each ocean and add a presence to a coastal land. So I'd have to go push you in there, add a presence to a coastal land. If I want to do the sap in there, I would have to add a presence into here. Now I won't have a sacred site for Renewing Rain, but I guess that's just going to have to be a thing that I accept. Play it for its elements to give me access over here to the sinking ability, because technically on this side with Bringer I can reclaim and do something similar to what I did last turn. So that's looking like a pretty good turn, but I still have to forget a card to Flow like water, reach like air, and I'm thinking, do I just forget Thriving Choke Fungus at that point? A nice card and all, but we might be getting a little bit past that point in the game. Let's come back to that decision for now. I'll put a reminder token on that so that I remember what I have to do. I could gift the Twin Days across onto that side and give me access to multiple defend 5. What I could also do is jump in there because I have to push out of each ocean, and that could let me solve that with Sap the Strength of Multitudes if I play Gift the Twin Days. But I don't love playing Gift the Twin Days here because, as I said before, I don't have a good access to a card on the side of Bringer. It's actually not a very good Bringer card because you'll often be playing like a major plus a Gift the Twin Days, and then you're not really doing anything except giving a single repeat on the other side, which isn't super cool. But whatever. What else can I do here? I can always just do the old reclaim 1, reclaim Gift of, or weave together the fabric of place. I get my Annie element this turn, don't I? I went 4 last turn. Yeah, because I've grown every turn, right? So how many turns have we taken here? We've taken 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 5th turn. So yeah, I will be I gain my Annie this turn. So I could go weave plus Twin Days if I reclaim weave, and then set something nice up with weave. I can just basically just weave this land with something else. It's going to build, then it's going to it's going to explore in there, and I just weave it with an inland land and then just pull everything away. So that kind of solves a lot of my problems. So I think I will do that. So I'll just set up weave here again. So I'll go reclaim 1, add a presence. So that gives me a presence from there. That's going to give me a sacred site, I think, over here. Do I need a sacred site here? I did say I want to be able to weave this land into the ocean next turn to just get all of that for free. So that's a sacred site next turn, because I might want to go reclaim all next turn and get weave back rather than reclaim 1. So that's a way to be able to do that. So I'll go this turn, I'm going to play the 2 of these cards. So I'll get my 4 from my top track. 1 plus 3 is 4, and then I have 1 from here for Twin Days. So again, as I say, Twin Days doesn't really do anything, because if you've never come across this before, if you repeat a card, you remove any of the text that talks about repeating, stops you doing infinite combos. So in this case, if I gift to Twin Days, Ocean will get a repeat, but I won't on my side, because I can repeat gift to Twin Days, but it's not going to do anything. It'll basically just remove all of the text from the card, more or less. So I'm just using this as a single sap the strength of multitudes, that type of thing. So that's basically what's going to be happening here. On the yeah, so my any element in this case also isn't really going to matter, is it? Because I'm going to want to give Ocean the element from this. I have my triple moon anyway, so I can, I say it's not going to matter. I can give myself, of course, the animal, and then that lets me, that is going to let me yeah, sorry, it will matter. I'll explain how in a second. So yes, of course, I'm going to take my any element is going to be the animal. That's fine. So I'll play this out and I'll show you why this will matter in a second. So I've got my sacred side over there. So in this case now, what we're doing is we're going to, obviously I've got here as well, I've got that again. So I think the first thing that I'll do, so on Ocean side, sorry, let's finish out what we're doing with Ocean. We said we were going to play the Call of the Deeps because we need to. Sap is going to be in there, that's fine. Renewing Rain is also going to give us our Earth, so we pretty much need to play all four of those cards to do the things that we'd like to do this turn. And that means that we will, I think, forget the Thriving Choke Fungus, as we're going to be reclaiming next turn anyway, and it's probably one of the ones that I care about the least. So I think, yeah, let's go ahead and pitch that one. Is it better than Grasping Tide? No, it's not. So we'll forget Thriving Choke Fungus. It did some work for us on the previous turn, that's fine. So that's that done. So now we need to pay for this, of course. So that's going to be 2 and 1. We'll finish resolving the rest of this card as well. So this pushed that on that board. On this board, I think we already said we pushed one from the Ocean. Did we do that already? I think we did. I think we said we had to push one in there, yeah, because we wanted to push all of them out. So that was fine. So we did that, and then we also added presence into this land, so that'll give us the range into that land. So that's all good. Pushing that into there. We also have, of course, the Enticing ability into this, but right now, yeah, no, I'd rather use the Enticing to gather. Oh no, I don't have that, so that doesn't count. So no, I'm only using Enticing to defend in this case, and I've already got a defend done in that land, so we can just Enticing into that land anyway, which could be edge cased. Oh yeah, no, we said we're not using the sap in that land, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, I was going to repeat Call of the Deeps, not sap in this case. So yes, I will be Enticing into that land over there. This thing here with Ocean, where would I like to place my Ocean presence? That's all going to get pulled away. Coastal's going to go into all of these lands anyway, so I think I will just go there. It's probably fine, so that can be defended. So yeah, okay, we're all good on all of this. So Twin Days on Ocean, they get to repeat a card. Weave is going to weave this land with a land that isn't about to come up, which is going to be this land here. So we'll weave that with that land, and that's going to put all that stuff into a land with a Badlands, which is not the worst. So that all goes in there. Now, Call of the Deeps. This is now an Ocean, of course. So we get to go gather, and then if target land is the Ocean, you can gather another. So in this case, I'm going to play this once. I'm going to gather you in there, and I'm going to gather one of these out of here, and that's going to drown both of them. And then I'm going to convert the two of them into an energy. So that's done that once. Sap the Strength of Multitudes. It has a range 1 boost, so I'm going to give it a range 1 boost into there because I'm in this land. And I'm going to go ahead and put a Defend of 5 in there. Flow Like Water, Reach Like Air. Target spirit gets +2 with all their powers. Oh, I actually had +2 with all my powers, so I didn't even need to care about the range boost from Sap. I forgot about that. So that's going to be nice with Renewing Boon or Renewing Rain. That is going to give me access to a Blight Heal. So probably people had seen that and were probably screaming at the TV with it, but I just noticed it now, so that's quite nice. I will get the Blight Heal off Renewing Rain, which is nice. So it gives me +2. I'm targeting myself, of course, and they may push one of their presence to an adjacent land. So from here into this land, bring up to 2 explorers, towns, and Dahan along with it. And then if I have the threshold, I may also bring up to 2 cities. I will bring 2 towns and 2 cities into that drink, and that's all going to get gobbled up. Drown all of that, which is going to be 2, 4, 5, 6 fear. So that goes, hey, I never used this, so I am going to get to see what this card does. So that's the card that's going to be resolved second. Under there, which is fine. I get to, of course, drown these, not kill them. So this is going to be 1 energy, 2 energy. So it's 4, 6, and this is going to be 3 energy, right? So it's 6 thing divided by 3. So 3 energy for 5 energy. Wow, that was absolutely amazing. And this is where Ocean really starts to explode in power. So that Flow Like Water, Reach Like Air was an unbelievable draw. So let's go ahead and put all of that in there. That gives us 5 more energy. Did I get that right? Yeah? 3, 6, 8, 10. And it's by 2. Yeah, 5 energy. Wow, that was insane. That's I'm sure people have come across that combo before, but I don't remember the guys on the podcast talking about that particular combo the other day. But that card is legitimately broken with Ocean, so I hope I haven't mistaken that interaction somehow. So that's all that done. I of course on this side of the thing, so I'm going to give the turn a face down card fear card face up. I don't need to know what this card is right now because I don't have any sort of things to solve or anything like that, so I don't really care about that card. I'm going to turn this one face up instead because that's one that I can potentially use the information on in future. So something to look at would bring. You don't always want to necessarily turn up the face up the one that you're about to resolve. Sometimes in like in this case, I'm not getting any benefit from that information really. So I'll just go ahead and turn the following one up instead. And I'll also have more information with this card when I'm resolving this card, which might also help. So that's fine. And we're looking to try close out and push for a Terror level 3 victory in this case if we can, although we're quite a few fear away from it, but we'll keep ticking away. So all of that's done. So that was that. The other thing I'm doing then, because I've got three moon, is I'm giving Ocean another one of these earth tags, so that means now Ocean is going to have, they won't have the level 2 of this, they'll only have they won't have level 3, they'll only have level 2 of the left innate, but they'll have all 3 levels of the right innate here in this case, which is quite nice. I'll just remove that, I'll remember. So that's all that done on that side. The other thing is Enticing then, and I've got the 3, the 2 and the 1 because I took the animal element, and of course I'll be enticing into this lovely land over here. And let's go ahead and take a drink. Red wine and whiskey and all those kind of things sit a lot nicer on the table when they've been sitting there for hours than a can of beer does, needless to say. Take a moment here, grab a little bit of sparkling water, keep myself hydrated and tip away and try to push if I can. This is another long one, folks. This is one of like these 4-hour games like the other one that went up on the channel the other week. I did expect Scotland to go a little bit longer. All that faffing around in the middle didn't help, but hopefully we can push this one through. So this is clearly a win from here. There's no way I ever lose this game from here, not a chance, but let's see if I can do it quickly if I can. So, okay, let's go ahead then and we'll go event. Event is going to be population rises, so it's still healthy island. So on each board, add a town to a land with an explorer or a town. So that's fine. On this board, clearly here, I'll be adding that town in there. And on the other board, then we'll be add a town to a land with an explorer or a town. So I will, in this case, do it into this land as well, because that's the weave land. Then I will do, on each board, add a disease to the sands or mountains with the most buildings. Sands or mountains with the most buildings in this board is going to be, there's only one choice, which is that land right there. And then sands or mountains in this case, that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that has to go into that land. And then each bird with at least 2 to hand among all its lands gets +1 energy. Ocean still doesn't, but Bringer certainly does, so +1 energy for Bringer. Okay, let's go to our cards. So the first one we had resolved was the unrest. So each player adds a strife to a town. It's unrest. So strife to towns. Yeah, and that can be any town in this case. So sure, I'll do it 1 in there. And that has to be a town. Any other good choices in this case? No, not really. We're about to ravage up in that sand, so that's not going to matter. Yeah, this won't matter at all. I'll just put it on one of these lands. Why not? So we'll get rid of the unrest, and you can see why there's not a lot for me to do on the board right now at this exact moment, which is why I didn't really care about turning this card face up. It's Flee the Pestilent Land. Each player removes an explorer or a town from a land with disease. So, okay, I can remove 1 and 2 because that is all considered the same land. So they're both removed. So all good. Let's go to our Ravage up here. Defended. 2 fear. No, and then blocked because we didn't hit any +1 damage. So only 1 damage gets through on that side of the board. Then we go after Ravage. We will do this thing where we add the town. So up here, 1 gets added there. And this is coastal, and then 1 is going to get added up here as well because it's not isolated or anything like that. Now, build. Here's where we'll start to add some stuff. So we'll go, oh hey, yeah, I forgot to repeat. So the Call of the Deeps. So I forgot to repeat the Call of the Deeps, and what I was going to do when I repeated the Call of the Deeps was I was just going to gather that into there because that is one of my lands. It's not an ocean, so I can't gather 2. I can't gather them out of there or anything like that. But when I said earlier on in the turn I wasn't repeating SAP, of course the other card I was repeating was Call of the Deeps, and I was just going to do something very straightforward, which was solve a single build. So that's all I was going to do with that. So it's 1 less build that's going to happen now, and that will not likely matter in this game, but just to be very consistent about my operation. So we'll go build here. So build, no, and then no, because this isn't adjacent to a town. Over on this side of the board we will build a city. Oh no, we won't, because we'll just remove 1 of these. And then this is going to build a city in here. This up here is going to build a city. So there's some stuff happening on this side of the board. So we definitely don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves here because we have more or less all of this cleared out, but we don't really have a very good handle on what's happening over here. So we'll have to figure out a plan, of course, for all of that. Next thing then is we will go and explore coastal lands. So this is an ocean. That's not going to count. This is a coast. So we'll explore that coast. This is a coast. So we'll explore that coast. Now, here's the thing. This is ocean, which means this now becomes coastal and this now becomes coastal. So actually, let's reverse slightly the operations here. We'll explore with this into here as one of our 2 coastal towns. That's going to be 1. The other one will be likely in here. Actually, no, because that can be solved by a single explore. I'm just thinking we can drown that at some point easily, but it's not a big deal. So no, we'll do that, and then we'll do that, and we also have to explore there because that's also coastal, right? So this is the ocean. So this and this are coastal. So we explored over there. Now on this side of the board, we'll go explore in here. That's coastal. We'll explore in here, and then we'll explore in here, I think, and then hope a fear card just takes care of that one. So each player chooses a different land with the hand and each defend 2. So I can get a defend 2 next turn in my lands with the hand. So in that case then, on this side of the board, I had a different choice. I can go out of there and then in there, because that's about to ravage next turn, and I can, assuming I hit enough fear, I'll just defend 2 in there. So what's that? 5 fear. How do I hit 5 fear here? Just to make sure I can actually do that. 5 fear looks like what? So now I've got 1, 2, and then I've got all 3 levels of this. So I'm going to get to sink some lands this time as well. Yeah. No, I'm going to swap that and just sink this land now, right? There's no real benefit here for sort of faffing around. So I've got 2 sink effects now, so I'm going to actually want to go ahead and use those sink effects. So I will do that. So I'll put the thing in there because I'm going to want to sink that land, so that's okay. And I will. That's just going to get ravage and get to get a free kill on that turn anyway. And on this side of the board, we went there and we went, I think, there. And then maybe start adding some deeps in that land? Question mark? Maybe. Maybe we want to defend this instead. Actually, no, we'll do it this way. Do it that way. Okay. Now, renewing rain. So I now have range 2 on this, so this can reach pretty much anywhere. And I will remove this blight. Put this back on the card. So that's that resolved, and now I get the first 2 levels of this. So the deeps, adding the deeps tokens, I'll get to add 1 for sure. We already said that this is going to be solved by next turn. We're just going to go weave again after it builds, and then at the end of the turn everything just gets gathered in the ocean, so we don't have to care about this at all for the purposes of deeps tokens. So we can go ocean, or we can go coastal lands, we can go in there, but that's not even really going to be a problem for us either. So I think we're going on this side of the board, and we're going to go maybe in there, so that next turn we can just kill the town that builds in there, and then I guess in here as well. So that's just another land that we can sink. So I think that's 1 and 2. So yeah, range 1 into 2 different lands. And then the second ability here is 1 damage per thing to towns only. So we will just at this point just sink 2 lands, I think, with this. Yeah, we could have sunk this if we had have not put a town into there or something like that. Yeah, I think we could have sunk that if we had not put a town in there. Could we? Anyway, right now what we're doing is we're going to sink this and we're going to sink this. And then we're just going to push our way in basically to the inland on this side of the board here. So just stop some stuff happening over there. I think that should hopefully help. So it'll be... Oh no, I can't do what I just said there. Ouch. Yeah, because I don't have a presence in 2 of those lands. So I kind of made a mess of this. I have range 2, but it's still target land or in a land with you. Yeah, so I'll just deeps twice into here. I won't be able to sink the board. I'll just deal 6 and kill 3 of the towns and not sink anything, which is a bit clunky. I didn't really manage fully my my stuff this turn, but it's okay. We'll just do that. So 1 damage per thing, so 3 damage, and then repeat it 3 damage. So we'll kill all 3 of them. Yeah. So that's 3 fear. Yeah. That's in there. No, that shouldn't be in there. Where did that come from? No, that went in there after the ravage, so that's fine. Oh yeah, we forgot to advance these as well. Getting a little bit tired here, slightly sloppy here, folks. Trying to also try to play fast if I can to try to get it done. So that was 3 fear, which I didn't take. That goes down there. And then we've resolved everything. That all goes back. All of this goes away. All that goes away, but we'll be reclaiming with ocean, which pulls all of our presence back into the ocean, which again isn't great news for targeting purposes, but that's okay. All that's gone. So we've no cards in hand with Bringer. We'll see what that looks like in terms of reclaiming. We'll probably just do a reclaim all rather than a reclaim one at this point with Bringer. So that's all gone. We're going to reclaim cards with Ocean for sure. And we've got loads of energy, so we'll definitely be looking for another major power this time, because this is giving us 2 more energy as well. So let's see if we can find something else interesting for Ocean to play. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bombard with Bows and Stinging Seeds. We might be able to threshold that with all of the plant cards that we have. Savage Transformation, Spill Bitterness, or Voice of Command. Spill Bitterness is our elements. We need to get it range 0, and it's going to deal some stuff like adding Badlands and other such things. Probably can't threshold that. No, we can't, and it's not a particularly great card if you can't threshold it. Bombard is probably just solid. Have to go range 1 from a mountain or a jungle, but I can get into coastal lands, of course. Not this turn, because I'm going to have to gather you out of there, and on this side of the board I need this. Yeah, no, again, it doesn't matter where my presence is, because as long as I'm on this board, this is considered ocean, so I can combine them regardless of where my presence is. So that in itself isn't going to matter, but it would maybe be nice to do Bombard somewhere. I don't have the 3rd plant, but it at least does give me access to another earth element. Otherwise, what? Voice of Command. What are you doing? Nothing particularly. Savage Transformation's a non-starter. I think Bombard is just going to be solid here. It's kind of slightly adjacent to my elements. It just gives me some damage and some Badlands, which could help with starting to sink lands here. So I think I'll go ahead and take Bombard. Get rid of the other 3. Yeah. Did I take the Bombard? No, oh yeah, there it is there. Okay, this goes into my hand, and then I need to forget a card. At this point, the Renewing Rain is going towards comboing with the Bombard, which is not great. Maybe I'll pitch Call of the Deeps. It helps me with the Flow Like Water, which is a combo I definitely want to be able to do again. Maybe I will just throw away Renewing Rain. Although no, I don't really want to throw away my earth elements either. Grasping Tide. Sap is maybe not necessary at this point. Yeah, I think I'll throw away Sap. Okay, thank you, Sap. You did great work, but you're all good now. So Sap is, so that's gone. That's gone. So I have 4 card plays this turn. So could I do something like this plus Renewing Rain? Do the Bringer stuff to give me access to that 3rd plant, which could, you know, technically give me both of these effects. I don't even have a land that has a blight. So it will be giving me the threshold here plus. Oh no, because I also need another air for the Bombard. So I probably want to just do Bombard on a turn where I play like the Flow Like Water together, and that's not really going to be this turn. So I still need to do the gather 1 presence into each ocean. I'm probably just gathering you out of here, I think. I'm not sure about all of this at all. Definitely need weave this turn. I think I'm reclaiming all. That's going to give me 4 energy on my top track, all my cards back in my hand, and 1 other card, which can be more or less any of them. So what's our problem here? We do actually have some problems to solve here. So where are our problem lands this turn? Oh yeah, at the end of the turn we had to decide what to do with that, and as we clearly said, that was always going to go into the inland. And my presence this time, I think I might have pulled them in there, which gives me a little bit better access into that inland. So I would have done that. Would I have taken the hand with me? I don't know that I would have. Yeah, I would have. Okay, so that's that. So we know for sure we want to play weave over here on that land, so that's okay. But we still have one. Oh yeah, we never got to sink this land last turn either. Oh yeah, no, that's madness. What am I talking about? It's getting late now, guys. I'm getting tired here. So the deeps aspect I can do at range 1, and then when I repeat it, I can repeat it only into the land or in a land with your presence. Oh yeah, so what I was saying was last turn, if I wanted to sink this, I needed to waste 2 repeats in that land, basically, just to sink that single land. But it did stop a ravage and then a build in the coast, and then I would just throw all of that stuff in there. So yeah, I think I needed to do that anyway. So let's go ahead and rewind that. Sorry guys, I'm a bit all over the place here, and I know I've looked at cards with thing, but I forgot the plan was to sink this land. So let's. Nah, you know what, I'm not rewinding. I've already seen cards. I'm not rewinding. I did plan on sinking that, and it might come back to bite me in the ass here. I was pretty far ahead in this game. That was a mistake, but I've already seen cards. I'm not rewinding. I'm just going to keep going. This land I would have sunk, obviously, but, you know, whatever. It would have meant that I wouldn't have got to kill those 3 towns, but they could have all just been pushed inland here. But you know what? It is what it is. It just means now the likelihood of me throwing away that sap the strength of multitudes goes down, because now I'm further behind on the board and I'm starting to think I need more defend powers. I'm about to get slapped in quite a few places. So I need to defend this land, which I can I have 2 different gather cards in my hand with Bringer. If I play Veil the Knight's Hunt and I take my any element as a what do you call it? I can actually max out my Enticing innate, which has got to be pretty good here. That's got to help. So if I do that, that does some pretty good stuff. Over on this side of the board, it would pull that in, it would pull those out, it would stop. Well, actually, I could pull 1, 2, 3, 4 all in there and just kill all of them and essentially just clear that board, which has got to be a lovely big pocket in there, and it just stops all of that problem. But we still got a mess on this side of the board, but it's pretty good if I Enticing over there. But I just ignore everything on this side of the board then, which is surely not great news. And it does mean I'm not giving Bringer any of the elements this turn, but you know what, it's probably okay. And then I can use Veil of the Knight's Hunt here to push some Dahan for example, from here into that land, defend that land, and then that solves that being a problem. So then on Brigger's side of the board, then I think we wanted to keep. Or on Ocean side of the board, I think we wanted to keep the sap. I think. Well, actually, I mean, I can't actually use... Yeah, because I don't have a range boost, so even Grasping Tide will just solve this land anyway. And then we'll have none of the coastal lands to worry about on this side, but then we will have coastal lands to worry about on this side of the board. So I think, yeah... I think I still do keep the sap. What's the card I throw away then? I think it's got to be the Renewing Rain. And we just give up on the Bombard Threshold. Yeah, throw away the Renewing Rain. Give up on the Bombard Threshold. Okay, so Grasping Tide. So that's going to be that land. And I'll combine it with the Veil to solve that land. So we've solved that land. We've solved all of that in theory with our Bringer Dreams and Nightmares, Enticing at least. And then we just clear that whole inland land. But now we've got 1, 2, 3 lands attacking us right now, and a Blight Cascade facing us as well. So not great news on that side of the board at all. And very little that Bringer can do about it. Like if I combo the Flow Like Water, Reach Like Air to give myself extra range, but it's surely madness. Because I can't do anything with it. It's a total waste of a card. I know I pulled that in there, and technically I could have left this in here, but I'm about to clear that whole land anyway, so that doesn't matter. Ugh. If I do that, I can give myself like Grasping Tide. I can give myself Sap, 1 extra defend 5 in there, for example. A defend 5 in that land is not bad, but Jesus, like, it's not good either. That can't be correct, can it? 2 cards on 1 land. We're about to gain defend 2, so we can each player choose a different land with the hand and each defend 2. So actually, if I push those to hand in there, that can defend that by 2. And then we can Grasping Tide at range 1. Yeah, it's range 1. It's not range 2. It's not enough. But I can just, we get a free defend a 2 in that land. We'd need the event to save us, which it's unlikely to. Oh dear, dear, dear. It's grinding down a little bit here. We're struggling just a little bit. I think we might just have to go Blight Cascade. Take 4 Blight this turn. Still don't flip the card, but then we get the coasts a little bit under control, is kind of the plan. We get to solve that with the deeps, so that will be solved. Our coasts over here would all be more or less solved. Pretty much all that will be solved, and then we just work our way inland that way. I think we just have to do it. I think we just have to give up on all of that. So we play Grasping Tide. Maybe call it the deeps. Yeah, to stop that from building. So we actually stop it from building. We don't even need to destroy it. Maybe we stop that from building instead. That way. So we play Call the Deeps, Grasping Tide, and Sap does nothing. None of this. The rest of this does anything. Swallow the Land Dwellers doesn't do anything. Tidal Boon. It's probably going to help a little bit. Can I play Tidal Boon and do anything with it? No, I think I underplay here from 4 cards down to 2. which I hate the sound of. No, play Tidal Boon. Because it gives 2 energy to Bringer, which might do something. And then I've got my 4 cards lined up for next turn. Okay. So that'll be it on this side of the thing. It's this side of the thing. And then Bringer's not gonna have access to so does Enticing save a bunch of stuff over here? No. I was just thinking, could I Enticing over here prevent, like, you know, pull 2 things out of there, 2 things out of there, stops 3 blight, push them all into there, and it'll be only 1 blight in that land, but then we can defend a 2 in this land, kill that city, prevent a bunch of blight in there. Like, that does sound really good. But it does mean on this side of the board then that we don't gather all this stuff out of here, and then when we drown this land, we leave a bunch of stuff behind, and we don't pocket that inland. Don't pocket that inside land. But that might still be the plan. So in that case, then I would leave this here. I would gather this back into here, if I did it in this order, and then I'd play the Bombard this turn instead. So play Bombard. Don't play Call of the Deeps because I need it next turn. Play the Bombard, and that would let me at least start to deal some damage with that in the slow phase. And I need 1 more water to trigger the deep, so I'll play 1 more water card. God damn it. Did I play Sap after all? At range 1 this time. Oh yeah, because range 1 in there stops this blight. Yeah. Okay. That's better. Okay. That's better. This is much better. Okay, 1/1 and then 2. And then we have the range. So this is going to solve this land. We said we're going to solve that land as well with the Grasping Tide. Okay, this is significantly better. So we'll hit, yeah, we'll hit both of these. We'll have those for the next turn, so we can get rid of, you know, this, for example. Put that here as a reminder. So that's all fine. And then on the side over here, we said what we were going to do up here is going to be significantly better because it's going to prevent much more blight. So I think we're okay. So we had to pay for this, of course. Actually, we didn't even gain a card, did we? No. So I think we were going to gain a major power on the side of Bringer. And we have a Gift of Twin Days ready to forget. So I'm going to look for a major and see if I can find a Sledgehammer. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it'll be draw towards a Consuming Void. That's a Sledgehammer. Ravage Undergrowth Slithers back to life. Angry Bears, and cast down into the Briny Deep. Now there is a Sledgehammer. We found 2 of the biggest Sledgehammers. I don't believe we're going to get anywhere near threshold, and cast down is the point, unfortunately. So if I do Briny plus Weave, that gives me a whole bunch of what I need, but I'm still basically 4 short with 2 water and 2 earth short. Annie gives me 1 and my innate gives me the other, but I'm still 1 short, so I need a full extra card play to be able to threshold that Briny Deep, and that doesn't look all that likely anytime soon. So do I just take it for its ability, which is terrible? Do I just take the draw towards a Consuming Void for infinite fear rush, which I think is probably the better play? I think I probably do take that. The other 2 are not particularly interested. So I think I'll take the draw towards Consuming Void and look for that as my Sledgehammer. And as I say, I'll forget the Gift of Twin Days because it's not doing anything for me. So that's gone. So draw is in my hand, and we're playing the weave this turn. So we gained our 4 already. We're just going 4 there and 1 here. We said we're taking our Annie from there, which is fine. And that's going to give us 1, 2, 3 moon. It's going to give us 3 air, and it's going to give us 2 of these, and then we're giving ourselves the extra moon this time, and that's going to give us the final level of enticing, which is going to be the absolute money shot that we talked about before. We also, of course, have this. So we've finally done everything. This was a very slow growth phase. Sorry, folks. It's now 37 minutes past midnight, so again, getting a little bit tired here. This is a long one. Getting away from me a little bit, but come on, let's keep pushing through. Veil the Night's Hunt. We said we need to go range 2, push those 2 in there. Done. Next thing is Spirits May Yet Dream. We should always really start with this. So this is going to be turn any face down, fear card face up. So that one is going to go to the next thing. So we're going to turn this face up, which is going to be too many monsters at some point. That's going to be a little bit later on with things inlands with beasts, but that's okay. So we're searching for the Dahan, this one for this turn. So over here we have weave. It's going to be weaving this land with the land next door to it. So this is going to be weaved into there. And then at the end of the turn, that's going to take effect. It's not going to happen right now. And then that's all of what we do over here. We obviously give ourselves the elements which we talked about. And then finally, Enticing then is going into this land. And it's going to gather... it's going to give every invader... Oh, yeah, God, what am I talking about? I was talking about before how I'm going to blind in there. Of course I'm not going to blind in there because it's going to stop all of that as well. So I'm going to go... everything's going to get -2 attack in there. I'm going to gather. So I'm going to gather up to 1 explorer and town and then 4 more. So up to 5 explorers / towns. So there's 2 of them. There's 2 more. And then we have 1 final gather, which can be from there. Gather them all in there, that's fine. And then we have, we've basically got all of that in that land. So we're going to stop all of the blight on that side of the board. So this is obviously significantly better than the other play, what was happening on the other side of the board. So now we take no blight instead of 4. So this is obviously much safer. So now, sap the strength of multitudes on the side of... on the side, the ocean is going in there, as we said, so that's going to give us a defend of 5. The grasping tide is going to be 2 fear. It's going to give us that Dahan, gain the edge card that we talked about before, and we're actually going to get it leveled up into level 2, which we didn't talk about before, which is nice, but I don't think it makes a difference here. So that's a defend of 4 in this land. No, actually, because we know we have the fear card to do that. So now we can just use the fear card in a different thing. So 1 damage gets to do something else in a different land. So, okay, whatever. No big deal. As I said, getting a little bit late and getting a little bit tired, so that's all okay. So that's those 2 things done. That's slow. The rest of this is slow. So we're gonna be good to go here. So let's go first to the event. Healthy island still. Well-prepared explorers. For the rest of this turn, explorers have +1 health. Okay, fair enough. Then we have... oh yeah, sorry. The other thing that we did was we pushed them in there, but that was the wrong land because we wanted to let him die, of course. So we pushed them there. That was going to stop a build happening there. We said that before. So they're going to go there instead. Then we're going to do the... Beast Prowl. Each beast generates 1 fear if invaders are present and moves to an adjacent land. If not, we've got 2 beasts and they both have things, so that's 2 fear. And then on each board, add 1 Dahan to an inland land with Dahan. So inland land with Dahan. In this case over here, not going to make much of a difference. Sure, we'll put it in there. And then inland Dahan on this case, also not really going to make much of a difference. We can put it in there. Sure, why not? Now we'll go ahead and we'll resolve our things. So this is, each player chooses a different land with Dahan, in each 1 damage and defend 3. So over here it'll be 1 damage and defend 3 in that land. And then the other land will be this one, because it's going to get to kill this town because there's a Badlands there. So that is going to generate us another fear. Okay, let's keep moving. Ravage this time. So safe, safe, dead, and dead generates a fear. On this side of the board, it's safe. Dead generates 2 fear. Safe, no. And then we have, after Ravage, then we have to go ahead and add all of those towns because we've loads of inland lands. So we've got 1 here. We have 1 here. We have 1 here. So that's 1, 2, 3 on this side. We have 1 here. We have 1 up there, and then we have 1 in the corner. And I was talking previously about my pocket in here, but of course the pocket doesn't work until the next turn, which actually would have been a bad play to go all in on a pocket here because it doesn't actually happen until the end of the turn. So I'm glad I didn't go for that. Now we've got the build happening here, so let's go ahead and build in coastal lands. And we also forgot that this was going to do this, but it's not the end of the world. We'll go build there. This is not coastal yet because this isn't drowned. This is coastal, but I would have tried to build in this one first before this one, so that's a safe build in that land, so it wouldn't have used up the disease. Then we would have done build in here. We would have gone build in here because that's coastal. And then this is also a coastal land, so we'll build in there as well. That's an extra city kill for us. Then over here we've got tries to build no city, builds a town, and then builds a city. We'll run out of towns in our little box here, but it's okay. I'm about to get a bunch of them back now in a second. So that's 2 builds on that side of the board, and then finally we will explore, and it is mountains. So we escalate first. So we pick the board with the most coastal towns, which of course is this board again. So we're going to go add 2 towns. I'll have to pull them from behind me here. 1 and 2 towns into the land with the fewest towns, I guess. Yeah, fewest towns. So in this case, fewest towns is going to be this is I can't do that one, and I'm about to sink what I have to do into that land. That's 1, and then the other I get to choose then. So fewest towns will be my choice, and at that point I can choose this because it's the fewest. So I'm about to deal what. I can put 1 thing in there and then I can kill both of them by drowning that land. So that's what I will do. So I'll put that in there because the rest of the day I'll have 1. So that's okay. And now we'll explore. Explore. Oh, hang on. Oh, yeah. So I'll explore with the town in here, obviously. Oh, no, I can't. That's not that's not a mountain. So hold on. So that's coastal. So I'm going to explore with a town in there. So actually, no, I won't place that because I'm about to explore with a town. So I have to place. Still, I have to place this somewhere. So I will place this into this land. Yeah, because I want to sink this land as well. So yeah, in there. Oh no, I can't sink this land. I'm still not in the land with it. So, oh, God, I'm all over the place. So, okay. That was where I added the town. So I did that. Now I explore. So I explore with a town in here, and I explore with an explorer in here. On this side of the board, then I also explore with a town. I should get another one. That explores with a town, and then that horrible land up in the corner explores with an explorer. Now, that's done. Move across. Okay, slow phase. Tidal boom. Target spirit can push a town and up to 2 things from one of its lands. So one of its lands is here. I'm going to push you in there and gain 2 energy. And I won't push Dahan. I don't think. Coastal lands are about to ravage. So far, this isn't a coast, and it's not about to be a coast. Sorry, this isn't an ocean, and it's not about to be an ocean either. But that is about to be an ocean. So coastal ravage is going to happen in here next turn, but that's okay. There's nothing we can do about that. But it doesn't change any of these lands, so that's all okay. So we won't push those for now. That's okay. We pushed it in there. Next, so that's done. Next thing is 1 fear, 2 damage, and add a Badlands. So now this is where, in theory, we could do something. Range 2, so we could just do it down in there, couldn't we? And then stop that being a problem next turn. We are going to have a Ravage in here, but I don't know, we need to do something about that anyway. Oh yeah, we can flow like water, reach like air potentially into that land, I guess. Something like that. Okay, so we will bombard with boulders and stingy seeds, I think, into this land down here, which is 1 fear, 2 damage, which kills that. And that's another fear. Too many monsters will be the second card down. And then add a Badlands into that land. So that's okay. That's that done. Now we get to do our deeps. So we get to place a deeps and a deeps. So we're definitely drowning this land. And then after that, we can't drown any other lands because we're not in any other lands. So we're going to waste it, unfortunately. So in theory, we should have put the extra town into that land. But look, it is what it is. So right now, we'll definitely add 1 in there. And I guess add 1 in here, because that means we can go over and start drowning on that side of the board too. Something like that. Yeah. Okay. I think so. So okay, so then we go in here and we drown this once. Yeah, we're just gonna do this twice. So sorry, yeah, it's 3 and then again into the same land. Yeah. So kill both of them. That's 2 more fear. Then I drown this land, so they get drowned. And then that's gone. That's gone. This goes back here, and then these all get flipped, and one of these gets pushed into this land, I guess. They both get flipped. Our stupid disease just disappears, I guess. I don't know, maybe it sits there, I'm not sure. What does it say? Yeah. Whatever. They're all drowned and it becomes permanently part of the thing. I don't know. A disease in the ocean seems thematic to me. Probably not going to come up. I highly doubt it. All of that's done. All this is done. And we go back to growth. So yeah, still a little bit of cleanup left to do here, and obviously when we go back to growth, we obviously have this big massive thing that happens over here, where all of this gets now moved into this ocean, and we combine all of it back in here, where we will, I think, keep our presence token here of ocean in the coastal land, but everything else goes into the ocean, and that's going to drown all of this, which is infinite energy for ocean. So that's going to be all of that. And I'm obviously going to get all of this fear, so this is awesome. So let's drown all of this. So 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6, 8. So that's 6 plus 8 is 14 fear. So we have 8 per card. So it's 2 cards minus 2. So essentially it will be 1 card goes under there, and then 6 more. Another card goes under there, and this goes up to here. So that puts us how many fear cards away? 3 fear cards away from a tier level 3 victory. So that can be something we can chase. And then of course we get to drown all of this, which is insane. So that's going to be how many health of invaders? 3, 6, 9. Plus we said how many of these there are. There's 8 towns. So 8 towns by 2 is 16, plus 9 is 25, 26, 27, 28. So 28 divided by 2 is 14 energy. It's a pity the ocean didn't find cast down into the briny deep. So 14 energy is 3, 6, 9, 12, and then 14. So let's take all of that. There's absolutely no way to spend all of this energy, but there you go. So there's 12 plus 2, 14 energy, and all of this is gone. And we have some towns back in the pool. So that was fun. I was quite happy about all of that. Let's see if we can maybe set something like that up over on this side of the board. We shall see. So, okay, that's all done. And then Ocean is now going to get to go gain a power card with G3 and look for another major. So let's do that. Major time. It's a pity we just got 2 of the big massive windmill slams. That could have worked, but let's have a look. We have Forest of Living of City and Tsunami. That was the one I was hoping we'd find. So Tsunami's pretty good here, obviously. I'm assuming that's going to be the one that we're going to want to take. So it's going to be 2 fear or 2 range into a coastal land in the slow. So worst case scenario could solve like this thing here. We could also do into other coastal lands, something like that. Over on this side of the board here, we also have some coastal stuff going on, so that could be not bad on this side as well. We might take a bit of blight here, but Tsunami could be pretty fantastic. Otherwise, we've got what, Twisted Flowers. We're not thresholding that. Plague Ships is pretty rubbish. But if I've got loads of energy, well, I see, I'm not thresholding it is the problem. No. And then Forest of Living is sitting. I'm not holding that either. So this is clear and obvious. It's going to be Tsunami. So let's take that, and then we will throw away one of the other cards in our hand and play the 3 from our hand, and we'll go bottom track. So that's going to be there, and then we'll just throw one of these away. It's going to be the sap, the strength. So that's gone. That's gone, and then we gain. So we have to pay for all of this, and then we have to do the push the presence thing, and then add a presence to a coastal land. So push 1 presence from each ocean, and then add a presence to a coastal land. So I need a... Yeah, we said we wanted to get away from here to drown into the ocean with that. That was a nice way to do that, but we can do it in multiple lands. If we just let this blight this turn, we can then just Tsunami it after it builds and deal 8 damage in there, which solves the whole land. 5, 3, 5, 7, 8. Yeah, so after that builds, you can just take a blight and let it go, so it's okay. So I might decide to I don't know, but Tsunami on this side of the board looks pretty good. What else do I have? Call of the Deeps, not really doing much of anything for us. That's okay. Okay, so on the side then of Bringer, let's have a think about what we might do over here. Are we getting draw towards a Consuming Void this turn? That would be nice. I can play it, and if I play it on its own, I get the ability, forget a minor, power, major, and a unique to perform it again. So I just gather everything into that top corner and just nuke it twice, basically, with draw. That's surely amazing. So, yeah, it's got to be a million fears, surely. Let's rush the fear victory. I wouldn't actually get to kill the cities, and I wouldn't get to move them, but surely it's awesome. And that's all that matters, right? It being awesome is surely all that matters. So I do all this on this side, I drown here, and then on the next turn I do the weave in these 2 lands. Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't get to go drown, so that wouldn't work either. No, so okay. But I could just do like join the 2 together and then flow like water to pull them in, which could do it in the fast to kill. How many cities are there? There's only 2 cities there, so actually that would only be 2 cities on that side. Flow like water can deal the 2 cities. Tsunami can deal with city here, and then I can kind of drown that. No. Because it's a bit the blight, so I can't place a presence in there and drown it. But I can only, I'm flow like water, reach like air. That's how I'm dealing with that. Sorry, yeah. So I'm flowing those lands, then I'm doing tsunami, all of these lands, and then the following turn I just pull the final 2 lands in the fast. So yeah, that's the win condition. So we're going draw, because then draw just gains us a billion fear this turn. So let's just go draw and make sure we have enough energy. So that's 4. We'll gain 4 more from there, so we'll have enough as it is. So we just need to make sure we have presence in the land, which we can do with either G3 or G4, and in this case it really isn't going to matter. So we will we'll just go ahead and do with this, we'll do the into a land with Dahan or Invaders plus 2 energy, and then we'll do it with that, which is giving us 7 total energy this turn. 5 plus 2, 7. This is pretty sweet. So that's 7. Place our presence disc in there, and then we'll pay for draw towards the consuming void. 3, 6, 8. And then we will be obviously doing the threshold with that one. So that's all we've done on that side of the board. It's funny that we also have 1, 2, 3. We don't quite have the Spirits May Yet Dream, but we do have Enticing level 1, which is kind of funny. Which could stop. Yeah, it can stop that ravaging, actually, yeah. Or that ravaging. It does actually stop a ravage this turn, which is quite nice. So from just our track elements alone, we've got Enticing level 1, of course, if we take this as a moon. So all good there. Other side of things then will bring her, we don't have any energy gained, but we have 1,000,000 energy in the pool, so that's 3 plus 2 plus 0 plus 0. So we're all good there. We have to resolve this pushing the presence stuff. So we have to push from here. These are all going to ravage, so obviously we need to push this into, I think, this land, and then we'll protect it with the Enticing, so that we can do the Deep's Drown in there. So that's what we want to do on that side of things over there, which is nice. Then we can also, so let's go ahead and do that. Enticing is happening in there, so that's good. The other thing then on this side of the board is we want to add a presence to a coastal land, which is going to be this one, because we're going to flow those away right now. And then we also push one of these in somewhere, which we can push into, yeah, why not, push in there. So that goes in there. So all done. And we have, in this case, we have the double flip with the deeps, and we have the first 2 levels of this. So call it the deeps, gather an explorer, and if it's a thing, you can gather another explorer. So in this case, I really want to make sure I don't get edge cased in that land. Oh no, sure, it's not going to matter, is it? No, it won't. So I'll just pull you in there. And stop you ravaging on that side of the board, which goes here. Next thing is that slow. This thing is fast then, so flow like water, reach like air. Just pushes all of this into that land, and all of that dies, and it all goes over here, which is generating 3 fear. 3 fear down here, and then I can convert, yeah, well, 3, 5, 6 into 3 energy for later. Those 2 things are fast or slow. Those 2 things are slow. This is all slow, so we're good to go. Let's go for an event here. Hope we don't get too wrecked. Map makers is stages 1 and 2, so it's ignore things during the explore step, and then on each board without the wilds, explore actions add an additional 1. We don't care about that. Prey on the heedless. In each land with beasts, 1 damage per beast. Sure, it doesn't matter. And then on each board coming of age, add a Dahan to a land with Dahan and none of the other stuff, which is Badlands and all sorts of stuff here. So sure, we'll add you in there, and then on this side of the board we will add you in, or we can't put it in there, so we'll just add you in there. No big deal. Okay, so that's our event taken care of. So now we'll do these one at a time, and these are all at terror level 2. So each player chooses a different land with... Oh, hang on. I forgot to resolve the Dahan, or I did resolve the Dahan, gain the edge. I forgot to move it down last turn, so we have these 3 cards at level 2. I'm a fool. Okay, so each player removes an explorer and a town from a land with beasts, or 1 explorer from a land adjacent to beasts. So yeah, sure, remove you. You're with beasts, and then adjacent to beasts is an explorer from somewhere. Sure, why not? You go. That's not really particularly useful. Next card is defend 2 in all lands with presence, and then each spirit gains 1 energy per sacred site they have in lands with invaders, which is none of us right now. So defend 2 in all lands with presence isn't going to matter either. Could have mattered over here, but it doesn't. And then finally, towns and cities each deal -1 damage during ravage, and then invaders do not heal damage at the end of this turn. So that could matter somewhat. It doesn't. I thought it was going to solve this. It actually solves that, which is quite nice. So this is still going to ravage, but it'll only kill at this point 1 Dahan, and then 2 Dahan will fight back and deal something. So okay, let's go ahead and ravage then. So we have coastal lands are ravaging here. We've got no. So none of that ravages. Over here we said -1, so that's safe. Over here, so that's going to be 1, 2, 3. So that will place a blight, and it will place a second blight in our ocean, which has barely come up this game. So that'll kill 1 Dahan, and it'll damage the other one. But then they'll fight back for 4, and they will kill this city here for 2 more fear. And then over here we have a safe ravage as well, because it's enticing, and that's that. Now after the ravage, it's a coastal, and the coastal inland thing doesn't matter. So now we'll go quickly onto the build. No, because it's not close to a city. Over here we'll build a city. Over here we'll build another city up there. So actually I made a mistake. I forgot that was going to build a city, so that's not a win on the fast phase next turn. Yeah. I was about to say, except I have a gifted twin days, which can let me repeat flow like water, reach like air, but actually it won't. So that won't work. But that's okay. Actually, it's not going to work at all anyway, now that I look at it, because I have to go reclaim and have to gather all my presents back into the ocean. So that plan was never going to work, but it doesn't matter. We're still okay here. So we're going to keep moving. What did we just do? We just did ravage and then we did build. So we built here and we built over here, and we had no builds happening over on that side of the board, because these are now oceans. And we have explore them. So let's go explore in sands and mountains. So over here we have a source here. We of course have a source here, but this is coastal, so now this is going to explore with a town, and the other 2 lands are sunk, so that won't work. Over here then we will explore with a town and an explorer, and on the inland we'll explore with a explorer and an explorer. 1 and 1. Okay, all done. Now let's move things along. How many invader cards we have left? 3. Plenty of time. Okay, now drown something in a coastal land. Sure, in here. Drown this and drown what do you call it? Both gone. That goes over here and it gets converted to 1 energy, and I generate a fear. 1 energy is hardly going to matter, but it is what it is. I also drowned a Dahan. I already did it. Okay, that's that done. Now, oh no. Oh yeah. My tsunami, it only has range 2, but I have range 2 from everything, so it's fine. So I can reach from here over onto this side of the board. So on this side of the board then we're going to go, well actually we want to sink things first, don't we? Yeah, because if I sink this land first, then I deal damage into all these coastal lands, which is better. So we'll sink this first and then we'll tsunami. So we've got two deeps over here. So it's going to be 1 and 2. We know we want to sink this. We want to sink... Oh yeah, so if I deal 3 damage in there, I wouldn't sink it, but it'd be nice to kill that city, because then that can tsunami and get rid of the rest. So I will do that. So that's better. Okay, so I go 1, and then on this side of the board, it's not really going to matter. I might be able to sink that. Oh no, that's already sunk, and so is that. That's already sunk as well. So here we'll start to encroach inward somehow. Actually, we can't, so none of that will matter either. So sure, in here for now. Okay. No, just in here. Why not? Okay, so that's that. Now we do the sinking thing, and we have the threshold required to hit all 3 levels of this, don't we? Yep, we do. So first thing that we do is we sink here. No, sorry, in here first, because this is at range 1, and then I can repeat into the land where I have presence. So in here, 3 damage, kill the city, 2 fear, another fear card. Now repeat in here, 3 damage, kill the town, generate a fear. Now there's no cities or towns in here, so now I'm going to sink this land. You drown this, that goes here, convert the 2 of them for 1 more energy. 2 of these get flipped, 1 of them gets pushed in there. This is now drowned, and this is now part of the ocean. So now this and this become coastal for the tsunami, which is a combo. A combo. Now we go tsunami from the other side of the board. No, not yet. Almost. First we draw towards a consuming void in here. So we go gather 1 of each invader type from each adjacent land. So let's go you, and then 1, 2, 3, all of you in there. So this is all in here. Is that even still on camera anymore? I don't think it is. Let's make sure the city and the town from over there are also all in that land as well. So that's all in there, and there's 2 explorers left in this land with my presence, but I also have to gather my presence in there as well, so that also goes in there. That becomes a sacred site, but it's about to die now in a second. Oh, I have to do it from here as well. Hang on. And 1 from any spirit from each adjacent land, so I also have to gather from here. Didn't think of that, but okay, now I've got 3 presents in there. And now I will do 4 fear and deal 15 damage. 5 damage to the hand. Oh wait, did I have to? Oh yeah, I had to gather 1 of those Dahan in there as well, so they can go in and sit on top of my presence as well. Okay. Oh, and from here, I have to gather that from Dahan from in there as well. So okay, we're going to slaughter a few Dahan as well, but that's okay. So they're in there. Now, 4 damage we already did. 15 damage, 5 damage to Dahan. So the Dahan are dead, but actually what can I do with them? Yeah, I can't destroy them. So they'll just sit there. Yeah, because you don't push. You only push the explorers in the town. So I don't actually kill the Dahan, which is kind of nice, because this is just a giant nightmare. So we will go 15 damage, 5 damage to the Dahan. Destroy 1 from each spirit. So you can't destroy anything other than your own presence. So I will actually slaughter myself in this giant massacre nightmare, and destroy. Oh yeah, I also have to gather. Yeah, I have to gather that as well. So I have to gather the beast in there too. So the beast will go in there, but it won't of course die. So okay, 15 damage. So right now we're looking at, we have 1, 2, 3 cities in there. So that's 9 of our damage. And then basically 3 towns is the other 6 damage. So it's going to be 3 cities and 3 towns are going to take that 15 damage. So we'll sort of put them off to the side at the back of the land, if you will. They have now all taken 15 damage. That is going to generate 5, 10, 15 plus 6, 21 fear. So we said before I have 8 in the pool. So 21 fear is going to be 2 fear cards. So it's going to be 1, 2, which is 16 fear, plus a further 5, which is 3 down, and that's another fear card, and then 2 more down at the bottom. So that's the first resolution of draw towards a consuming void happening in there. And I, of course, do lose one of my presence tokens. So I destroy one of them. That's the only thing that can get destroyed. Now, the towns get pushed, but the cities don't. So the towns are going to get pushed, and I'm going to push 2 of them in there and 1 of them in there. Yep. Now, if I repeat this card, yeah, perform the above effects again. So this isn't a repeat. This is different than a repeat. So I can't actually combo this and destroy everything a second time, which is what I just needed to check. So draw towards a consuming void. It actually says you append the text onto the previous card as opposed to repeating it. It's different. So from Bringer's perspective, I've already tried to kill them once, push them away. If I gather stuff in there now and I tried to kill the cities and stuff again with this a second time, it actually won't work. So what I can do is I can gather all the stuff back in, and I can try to kill. There's basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 towns still left in that land, plus a bunch of explorers that I could try to kill. So if I can essentially throw away the draw towards a consuming void to repeat this one more time in the land and just generate a whole ton more energy, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to, if you have no other power cards in play, any number of times I can forget a minor, a major, and a unique to perform the above effects again. So that can be my major, and then I can pitch away a minor and a unique to do that one more time. And I think I will do that, because that's going to generate me 4 plus another 6 times 2 is going to be another 16 fear. Yeah, it's going to be amazing. So we'll do that. So we'll throw away the draw towards a consuming void. That gets forgotten. I also forget Invader the Knight's Hunt, which was off in my discard pile, and then I just pick one of my cards here, which will be Dread Apparitions. You're going to go. Get in the bin. Oh, you get forgotten over there, and now I do the thing again. So this time I'm going to gather again from each adjacent land. I'll gather 1 back in there. I'll gather 1 to hand from there and 1 to hand from there. And I'll gather a town and an explorer from the adjacent land, all back into the land, so they can be gathered back in, but they can't be dealt damage. So this time, last time I essentially pushed 3 towns away. 1 of them is out there, and then 2 of them are back in the thing. So there's now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 towns in there, but 2 of them can't be dealt damage. So I'll deal damage to the other 6, which is going to be 1, 2, 3, and the ones with the strife on them as well. 4, 5, and 6. That's a total of 12 damage. Plus, I'll kill 3 explorers as well, because why the hell not? You all now get dealt damage for my 15 damage. The cities will stay in here. And that's going to be, again, a further 4 fear. Plus, the 15 damage in here is going to try to kill 6 towns with shadow damage, which is going to be another 12 fear. So that's 2. Plus 8. Plus 2 plus 8 plus 2, right? Yeah. 2 plus 8 plus 2 is 12. Yeah. So I've got 6 fear left in the pool. These towns all get pushed away, and then I resolve the tsunami. So let's just go ahead and finish it out. Push them into all adjacent lands. So it'll be 2 in there, and then 1 goes in here. And then why not? We'll just push all the rest into this land up in the corner. That's fine. Now we'll go ahead and we'll resolve the tsunami on this side of the board, which is going to be 2 fear, 8 damage, and destroy 2 to hand. So this is going to be over into any of these lands here. Oh, why not? I'll push 2 more of them in there. Look at that. So that gets me into that land, and this has range 4 from a Sacred Side, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, over into that fear thing. We did the 2 fear, 8 damage, kills those 4 towns. The Explorer gets to live through a tsunami somehow, which is quite funny. That generates another 4 fear. That's my last fear card, and that is a terror level 4, or as otherwise known as a fear victory. And that was so much fun. God damn it, it's late. God damn it, if you stay till the end, I absolutely love you for being here. I'm a bit slap happy. I'm a bit tired. I had a great time. That was amazing. What more can I say? Absolutely adore Bringer of Dreams and Nightmares, and it did everything I wanted and more. If you never loved the spirit and you stuck with me till the end, I hope you're looking at this and going, I want a bit of that, because Enticing is amazing. But I had a lot of fun with Deeps, I have to say. Still, the jury is still out in terms of how all of that deep stuff works, and it's kind of like you could see I was kind of going, oh, do I want to drown here? Oh, the land's now empty. And I heard a lot of people say that this is kind of what you want to be doing with this, in terms of just dealing bits and pieces of damage, as opposed to trying too hard to spread across the island. So when it ended here, I had 1, 2, and 3 of my lands had been converted into deeps, but everything felt quite under control. We never flipped the blight card. I have to say, when we talked about the matchup at the start and how good or bad this was going to be, I had a suspicion. I think I said it out loud, if I remember correctly. I did say that I thought this was going to work pretty well together, and it turned out to be the case. Bringer Dreams and Nightmares it didn't feel like a B matchup to me. I always felt like this was pretty under control, and only part of that was due to Ocean. But look, anyway, we're at the end of the game. That must be at least 4 hours now of a video, or thereabouts anyway. So thank you so much again. If you've been here till the end, my God, you're doing an absolutely you are doing the honest work by being here and watching me and getting my hours up and supporting me and showing me that this is worth it to do as something in my spare time, and something that I'm quite passionate about, as you can probably tell. So look, that's going to be it for now. Please do, if you stuck around and you liked what you saw, please hit the like button, and please do obviously subscribe if you haven't already. And if you think it's something that your friends might like, please do go ahead and share it out with your friends too. But that's going to be it for now. We'll see you on the playthrough episode at the next weekend, when we dig into Scotland and we find all about how they play and talk a little bit more about this game. But that's it for now. Thanks so much. See you then.